Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. How are we doing? It is time. It's time for a new trial. I've been keeping this one a little bit close to the vest.
Defense made a motion for a mistrial. Prosecutor was up to some fuckery. Potentially damaging evidence, no basis for it. The judge specifically said, do not ask that question. Do not use that as evidence. She walked right down the path and asked the question. It may be over on Tuesday morning. Batman Bruce Wayne bitch snitch. Gerald Brooks, your constitution does not apply to me because I'm a sovereign citizen, a traveler on the land. I'm from the Moorian Empire or whatever, bitch snitch. Because they're so fucking absurd. If you want to be a sovereign citizen, just do yourself a favor first. Go to YouTube here and just get every sovereign citizen that's ever been before. Find me one that won. God dang, you're right. Don't go down this. It's not the path. Don't have time for stupidity. Some clever dick on the internet didn't find the great loophole in all of the world's law. Bitch snitch. God dang, you're right. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. God dang, you're right. Moorish Empire. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. Moorish Empire. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. The late evening U.S. people.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you're doing it with, however good it feels, however many times you're going to do it in your partner's mouth and claim you're pregnant with twins. I'm just glad you're doing it here with me, Legal Vices, on this little channel I like to call Legal Vices. It's me, Jeff, doing another show here. We're going to get straight into this, so let's get the house cleaning stuff out of the way real quick. Rip Toby Keith, stomach cancer, fuck cancer, straight out of the gate. Let's just get that out of the way. We got our like and subscribe poll, which we do every day. 234 of you here now, and only 74 likes. Come on, people. You haven't, there's like literally 200 of you haven't done your job. Okay, like 140 of you haven't done your job. Get down there, hit that like button while we're doing this right now. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. That would be absolutely awesome, and I would be honored if you would subscribe to the channel. Give me a chance. It doesn't cost anything. You can just click that subscribe button and forget about it forever if you don't like it. And if you have subscribed, just please double check to make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube is taking me through another time of testing where it's just deleting people. They said, you got a bunch, so we're going to take a bunch away. So last 24 hours, YouTube's eaten about 100 subscribers. So YouTube. But thanks, YouTube, for giving me this wonderful platform to do this with. That's where we are. And once you've hit the like, once you've hit the subscribe and made sure you're still subscribed, come over and take our like and subscribe poll. Today, it's our friendly little reminder every day just to hit that like and subscribe. And now that I see 100 more people have done this since I started this, so thanks. We still got 120 of you need to hit that like button, so get on it. Like and subscribe poll. What class did Jane Doe get an A+ in? Arts and crafts, human biology, existentialism, specialty with Schrodinger's twins or Schrodinger's kids, or oral performance. Those are your choices for today. We'll check in an hour and see how the voting is going. But in the meantime, we have to bring up our super special guest, which is Dave Neal.
Hello.
How you doing? Welcome back.
Wow, it's so nice to be here. It's been a couple crazy months for you now that you're part of the crew. Welcome.
Well, it has, and today we can have a little more fun with it because, I had to have an open mind the first time we were here, so I was a little stilted.
You were having fun last time. Come on, it's a party. Let's go.
But hey, she had the opportunity to do anything. I didn't even get a nasty gram, so I kind of felt bad about that.
Oh man. Yeah, well, I mean, she picks her victims, but what's funny is like when we first met, I was kind of like the one alone on the battlefield. And now that you and Megan and Umbrella Guy and everyone's shown up, I'm like having a smoke in the bunker, just like letting you guys fight the fight. It's been nice. I got like my thermos of like black coffee. I'm like, okay, we can take a break here.
And Megan and I are in a contest, so you can have the longest introduction to our show.
Boy, what a good intro. I mean, I feel like I have a law degree after watching that. That was fantastic.
I think every case I do, I'm going to just add more to it. So it'll take up the entire show, and I'll be able to sit back and do nothing for the whole thing.
There you go.
But we've had a few updates with this, and we can kind of course, everybody's all, why are you calling her Jane Doe? I get that all the time, and her name's out there. Well, one, that's how you handed the case to me with Jane Doe. Two, it's funny, and and three, I think it's funny that we're not saying her name. It's like the Oscar Wilde. The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about.
Yeah. Well, I've said I'll say her name after I beat her in her harassment case against me. That'll be the first time I go full name dropping when I have a victory speech from the court steps, but we'll see if that happens.
Which may be 24 hours from now.
Well, yeah. What's today? It's supposed to be Thursday.
Okay, we're still in Tuesday.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I'm
still Tuesday. Yeah.
Where I am. You're in the future.
2 more days.
Well, yeah. In the future, tell me, did she dismiss this or not? Please let me know.
Well, it's only 11 p.m. on Tuesday here, so I'm not that far in the future. But
isn't it bizarre? I'm just supposed to wait and see if she shows up to this weird little date she's planned for us at the LA Superior Court.
Well, as long as she hasn't said she's not appearing,
well,
she could be in some shit if she doesn't. Non-appearance is not good.
I don't know too much about how it works, but someone sent me the minutes where she has requested for virtual appearance. And it's like, look, if I'm harassing you, you got to at least show up. I mean, it's so weird. She's scared of Clayton, so she goes virtually. He then sees that she shows up to his deposition. How scared of the guy are you that you want to spend 4 hours with him? Dressing up, probably wearing her best, evening attire, puts on a couple, dabbles some perfume on, make sure the fake eyelashes are pressed. What are we doing?
Brushed your teeth really well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. It's you're live in the person.
Oh, yeah. It's just that whole fiction. It's like I got this motion and I'm terrified of him, so I gotta go by video. Meanwhile,
no one would have believed it.
What have you done? What have you done? Nothing.
This wouldn't be a good movie because it would have ended so long ago. You'd be like, all right, this isn't believable. And yet it drags on. And it just goes to show you could have multiple people out here with their foot on the gas exposing her. And she's still pretty much getting away with it to the point where, I think she's cool with me now. She's cool with all of the exposure of what happened because she still knows she's going to get off. She still knows she got off legally. And I think that's all that matters to her.
Well, I mean, that is a problem with the legal system is truth versus procedure. I mean, you can bury someone under procedure, motion after motion after motion after delay after delay after delay, while the other guy is just waiting for the truth, just waiting to throw the truth on the table.
Yeah, and for me, so this is where we're different, right? If she wins on some technicality that I am harassing her, even though I'm just reporting on the content, I've never messaged her. Like, she's always been the one to initiate everything. But if she does win, I still know I'm in the right. So my sort of moral compass isn't always swayed by what the law is. I've always said that, like, if I just moved to Tennessee, if they want to arrest me for smoking weed here, I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It was legal where I came from, 3 states away. So I just kind of feel like if there is probably, I don't know, a small percentage where she wins and the judge out of caution says, quit harassing her. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Can I keep making videos where I don't say her name? You know what I mean? Is she going to take everything as I'm talking about her? And as you'll probably show in your documents, she's accusing everyone who doesn't like her of being one of her ex-boyfriends. And it's like, listen, even though those guys made the mistakes of hooking up with you, I didn't, and I'm not your ex, and quit treating me as such.
And Megan Fox is here. She just heard about our intro contest. Hey, Megan, welcome. Good to see you here, Megan. And everybody, we're going to get into this thing now here. So super chats, we'll read the super chats because I'm sure you'll send them. At least give me minimum wage here. Come on, people. Don't make me have Megan shame you. You don't want to be internet mom shamed. So as the super chats roll in, that's they're not required. They're not even begged for. I'm just saying, if you want your questions read or addressed, that's the guaranteed way to do it, because they pop up in pretty old colors and I see them. Otherwise, we'll try to pick and choose as we go through the chat here. But just know that they're always graciously and gratefully accepted, as well as liking and subscribing. But are you familiar with this case that's going on in Canada now?
Is this the midwife case?
Yes.
Yeah, that one's really sad. I mean, I think the midwife case is sadder because it seems like the lady just wanted some form of companionship. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're similar. I don't know, but it's really just just taking advantage of good people.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, in a nutshell, it's this woman who has basically conned and scammed dozens of midwives. And it's all volunteer. It's all online. She's talking to them on the phone while she's allegedly in labor. She's always been pregnant by a SA. She's always losing the baby while the doula's on the phone. And she's done this to dozens of people. And she's scheduled to be sentenced on February 14th, the Jane Doe's delivery day.
It's impressive to see that this has gotten this far in Canada. What I would like to see, which we haven't really done yet because I don't think anyone's had like real intimate access to Jane Doe, but I'd love to know the link between mental health and the female body. And I know we're two men talking about this, but we don't know what it's like to go through fertility issues or all these different things. So I can have this empathy to be like, okay, well, this must be really challenging to know if, that you've got this biological clock. And I know people don't like to talk about it, but it's real, right? At some point you can no longer have kids. So every day you're kind of pressured to have this family and the children and all of this. And what some people in that instance with mental health issues might do to garner sympathy or whatever. I mean, it's probably a hell of a drug that you get when you do fake a miscarriage or something, as sad and crazy as that would be.
Yeah, I mean, people that fake anything for the attention. I mean, that's just got to be like the loneliest of lonely. But I mean, this midwife scammer chick, she's putting up pro numbers though, with dozens of these midwives. So,
but imagine the attention you get. I mean, you see like a baby who cries for attention. It's just no different. People drop what they're doing to help you. It's kind of like a suicide hotline of sorts. And, these midwives are there to, I think also, was it all online? I think they were also like doing massages, like postpartum massages. And they seem like some of the nicest people that are taking advantage of.
It's so sad.
Their lawsuit is basically saying, that this woman has ruined the trust we have of believing other women. I mean, I get the argument, but I wouldn't not believe people. But I think there just needs to be, we need to bring science into the equation where, you can take a COVID test right on the spot. There should be tests that are taken that you can tell right away just to verify people so that all the resources can go into the right place.
Right. Right, we got a couple things here to go through real quick. Abby abroad says, "What sucks with?" Hey, Abby, what's up? What sucks with both women is that they use very real women's issues for sick personal gain and make it tougher for real sufferers of various ills.
And what Jane Doe will do is she doesn't just use women's issues. She used the race, allegedly, if she is who we believe she is with Chase J. Jones, she used race. She's used obviously women's issues and if you could find an issue she could use to weaponize, she would be weaponizing it.
And I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's her track record so far. And Marv White asked if we could start 2 minutes early. No, we had to start 2 minutes late, actually. That was just because we're shooting the shit. But Marv White gave a super thanks to yesterday's video. So, Marv, appreciate that. Thank you so much for that super thanks, which anybody on replay, just let me know you can do that too. And Dave Woodmore with a $5, the first super chat of the evening. Any amount is worth not getting Megan shamed. I'm sure she'll find a way to do it anyway. She's Megan. She's Megan Fox. She'll find a way. Thank you so much for that support. Now, I promised everybody last time I talked about this that I would offer the proof that we can't say that there is 0% chance that she was pregnant with the twins. You can never say 0% because we have the case that Megan talked about that people were calling bullshit on, but I said I would bring the receipts from a reputable source, which is ABC News. The woman who got pregnant from oral, the one we have on record of getting pregnant from oral.
Whoa. A
strange tale of oral sex, a knife fight, and the most unlikely of pregnancies recently brought to light by the blogosphere. This was 2010, and this is ABC News. 1988, a 15-year-old girl living in the small southern African nation of Lesotho came to a local doctor with all the symptoms of a woman in labor because the doctors were quickly puzzled because upon examination, she didn't have a vagina. Inspection of the vulva showed no vagina, only a shallow skin dimple. So doctors delivered a healthy baby boy via cesarean. The authors wrote in a case report published in the British Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology. So I didn't make this shit up. Her birth defect, called Malarianagenesis or Meyer, Krauss and Hauser sauerkraut syndrome, whatever that is, I can't even try to pronounce that, didn't necessarily surprise doctors, but her pregnancy did. Even the 15-year-old girl couldn't believe she was pregnant. Yet, by looking at her records, the hospital staff realized the young woman was in the hospital 278 days earlier with a knife wound to her stomach. The average pregnancy lasts 280 days. After interviews, they gathered that just before she was stabbed in the abdomen, she had practiced fellatio with her new boyfriend and was caught in the act by her former lover. The fight with knives ensued. The girl arrived at the hospital with an empty stomach and therefore with little stomach acid around, and doctors found 2 holes from a stab wound that opened up her stomach up to her abdominal cavity. The case report said doctors washed her stomach out with salt solution and stitched her up. A plausible explanation for this pregnancy is the spermatozoa gained access to the reproductive organs via the injured gastrointestinal tract, the authors wrote. Infertility experts note the story, which resurfaced in a Discovery magazine blog, is not only a testament to Murphy's Law, but one to arguably nature's most impressive swimmers, sperm.
What? Can we watch this as like a Pixar movie with the little sperm kind of like finding its way, like the long journey of the sperm through the stab wound?
They've all got knives and
they're
all doing West Side Story.
It feels like some Tijuana shit. That's what that feels like.
Holy. So, yeah. See, chat, I wasn't making that up. I told you I would bring the receipts today, and I did. So there you go.
I mean, it just goes to show when the love will find a way. I mean, through
we almost broke Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I glitched for a second. I kind of felt like I was like, did I have an edible? What was this? Yeah.
So I mean, we can't say it's a zero-sum game. There is a slight chance, assuming that she was involved in a knife fight shortly thereafter and stitched up in the hospital.
You know what I love about Clayton here is the more information we've received from the hearings, he's done a really good job of getting a lot of info out there. He was the one who took the initiation to get RavGen, and without RavGen, we wouldn't know there's little to no fetal DNA. And that's not even that's not even like paternity DNA. They couldn't find any babies. Yeah. So, because we look at that and you go, wow, but she did test positive for pregnancy. And there's all these shadows of a doubt. And it's like, no, she showed 0 signs that she was pregnant what would you rather believe? The blood test from RavGen or peeing on a stick after maybe you doused a little, horse fertilizer on your vulva? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, these are allegations allegedly here. But it's, you got to believe the higher paid science, which is the RavGen. And they said, nope, didn't happen. Nothing here.
Well, I mean, especially when, I'm sure I wonder what was in the Lost in the Mail one. Probably ain't nothing there. And then refusing to take a 4th one. Yeah, well, and
maybe all the fetal DNA was kind of clumped together in that one missing test. Maybe it was there, but it's gone now.
Oh, this is such a stupid case. It's stupid for us because it's not happening to us.
Yeah,
well, it's happening to Clayton, and that's just got to be insane.
I tell you what, I've lost friends over this. Really? I'm not kidding. I've become so paranoid. There are people that were friends of mine that no longer answer my text messages. And I'm like, do they think I'm the bad guy here? And I'm like, you know what I mean? But I'm not kidding when I say that. I'm not looking for I'm not trying to play a victim here. There are people that have gotten so weirded out by the coverage of this. And I'm like, and it's like, follow the story if you think I'm the right guy or wrong guy here. But I think it's speaks for itself. You know what I mean?
Like how so? They're just, it's like you're not believing all women, or what?
No,
What is this?
I think to a small extent of people, there are people, a lot of people have had issues with SA, and I understand that. And maybe they think this delegitimizes. I truly don't know, but it's kind of been one of those things I've had to tip my cap to and go, I acknowledge that not everyone I know needs to follow this, but what I did expect is that I would have more support. Now, don't get me wrong. I've gotten so much support from the audience, but I thought I would have more peer support. And again, I don't want anyone to go, who's he talking about? This and that. There are just people that I was like, all right, I thought we were all going to show up and talk about these types of things, and crickets gone. And I'm like, maybe, and I've gone so far as feeling paranoid. Like, this is a couple months ago, and it's clearly proved my point, but I felt paranoid. And I've been like, I want everyone to know, as soon as I was starting to get sued, and as soon as she was trying to get an order of protection against me, I wanted everyone to know that might not be tapped into my algorithm. And I send people 5-minute, 10-minute long voicemails explaining the situation. And, most people are like, wow, this is crazy. But others are just like, they've kind of backed away from it. And maybe it's like their own fears. I truly don't know. I've just had to double down and being like, I know I'm on the right side of this, and I have to keep doing what I feel like is the authentic thing to do here. And if some people are weirded out by that, that's a them issue, not me.
I guess I must hang around with weirder people than you do, because I've gained a lot of friends from this, and we all think it's hilarious.
It's not everybody. I've just noticed it, and I've gone, oh wow, there is collateral damage when, she wrote an article on me for cyberbullying. If someone's just casually seeing this, they might go, oh, Dave's a piece of shit. I don't know. But I'm just like, I try not to draw too much attention to that, because like I said, I'm so confident in where I am with this that it's a them issue, and maybe they'll come around one day. I don't know.
JKD Buck says, Mom, where'd I come from? I hoovered your dad and was in a knife fight. That's how Anakin Skywalker was conceived.
Jeez. Yeah, it really does.
JKD Buck, 5 minutes in the penalty box for instigating for you. Man. That's wrong. That's how Anakin was conceived. Oh my God. All right. Oh God. Well, what we wanted to do today was these new documents that have sort of come through the good side of the Reddit community, not the bad side of the Reddit community. The motion to communicate. This is the petitioner filing this ridiculous motion. What was it, last August sometime? August 29th. The please make him talk to me motion, which is just the stupidest thing I've ever. Well, I think I've said that about every motion I've read so far in this case. That it's the stupidest thing I've ever read. But it's fun. It's fun. I like this because it's a good laugh for me, again, because I don't know them and it's not happening to me. So let's see. Let's bring this window on up here.
It seems like she just wants people to communicate with her. I don't think we need to go into the court system. Maybe like every week we could all take a shift and just text her for an hour or something. Community service.
I'm on duty. Text me for the next 3 hours. Now, again, this was last August. Last time, the petitioner filed a motion to communicate, asking the court to order the respondent to communicate regarding her pregnancy. Can you imagine, like, the court going, I order you to communicate with this woman about this? That's kind of what courts, this is why family court is such a horrific place, because judges have to sit and listen to two people talk to him that absolutely refuse to talk to each other. It's like those old Brady Bunch episodes, and he's like, will you tell Bobby that I'm going to do this? And Bobby's standing right there. Well, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it reminds me of parents that don't know how to communicate, so they just yell to the kid, tell your dad to stop chewing so loudly on his meatloaf. Yeah. Tell your mom, maybe if she wasn't a bitch, I would. Kid's like, I'm 6 years old. Can you do therapy, please?
Since filing the motion to communicate, petitioner has made almost daily efforts to contact the respondent. What was it, like 500 texts she sent him?
Dozens of phone numbers. Yeah.
That's
I just imagine her like a Russian troll farm with just cell phones like glued against the wall,
yeah,
just kind of
yeah,
like waiting to see what works.
yeah. The uh,
She like pretends to be like Geico, like we'd like to call you about your insurance, and he's like, oh yeah, she's like, oh yeah, it's me, bitch.
the whole bank of phones watching the same thing, speed dialing the numbers.
Just that
Oh
bright
God.
light hitting the
Yeah.
face, like at 7 a.m. You've been up for 30 hours just drinking Monster energy drinks, waiting for your cell phone plans to boot up.
Please, can I have lunch now, sir? No, dial. So, I mean, she sent him 500 text messages, emails, and somehow he's the one that's harassing her and is being weird about this.
Wow, he just didn't respond. You know what I mean? How dare him?
Oh, God, the knife. Bob, thank you, Bob, with the Aussie $5. Throw a coin to your Lorax. He's giving up his sleep to bring us this effed up situation as entertainment. Oh, it's entertaining to me too. So hey, we're on it. Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate that, Bob. What the hell is your? It's a minion. Okay, what the hell is that? She just assumed the Jane Doe pose. I was trying to figure out what it was. Okay, thanks for the support there. Now, God, I'm just stunned by just the absurdity of this whole thing. And like when I tell people, they think I'm making it up. I'm like, no, this is a real thing. Watch Dave Neal, watch Megan, watch me. And I mean, as you said, this is something that could never be made into a documentary. Well, it could be made, I guess, into a documentary, but it could never be made into like a TV movie or anything like that. Because it's so stupid.
The documentary is challenging because we do have a documentarian very high up, with all the top streamers in the US looking into it. And at this point, it's kind of like, how do you tell the story? But I think the way to tell the story is the way the audience is slowly finding out about it, because none of this was meant to be public, right? All of these manipulation tactics, even to the point of her wearing the fake belly into court, that was not meant to be streamed. She's just getting exposed. And it's like, she did this for months and for years without it ever getting exposed. And now all of a sudden it's like, didn't she understand the whole idea of flying too close to the sun? You do this to a real estate bro who wants it to go away because no one will believe him. Fine. You do this to a reality star. Now you got 20,000 people looking at your every move. I mean, this is not good for her. Bad move.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that we've got people like Tug on it, we got 500,000 at least on keeping their eyes on this. So she may not quite want the notoriety she was looking for.
I know, it's weird, right? It's a weird itch. Like, she wants the attention, but only to a certain extent, and then
on her terms.
And by the way, her trying to dismiss her case against me comes with stipulations. Now, there's stipulations I can't share yet because I'm waiting to see if she'll actually hold up to them. But they just even in these documents, there's going to be a moment where she says like, hey, where she goes, I'll take the genetic test, no stipulations, as long as you do this. And it's like, right, motherfucker, that's a stipulation. Don't you know what stipulations mean?
She doesn't know how a lot of words work. I've decided it's just every time I read through these, I just have like Inigo Montoya in my ear going, you keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. It's insanity. But so she wants this motion. She's made almost daily efforts to contact the respondent, who has also refused to participate in the good faith consultations required by Arizona family law. Respondent refused to participate prior to petitioner filing the motion for contempt, filed on October 23rd. Petitioner has offered to schedule a paternity test through the lab of respondent's choice, RavGen, more than 30 times, which is evidence in email correspondence. Petitioner even paid a deposit and scheduled a test for them on August 23rd, which was a date the respondent claimed worked for him, but then he didn't get back to RavGen about scheduling a time, so the test was canceled. But yet she just doesn't show up to her
So
for
I don't know how
shit.
all of this works, but we do know he refused to take the test with the stipulation that they do a dating contract. But when I talked to him, when I had him on Driving with Dave, which I had to delete this whole part because he was still in his court. Now it's kind of like irrelevant. I had like a half an hour of conversation about this. But one of the things he said was he was on the way, and it might not have been this genetic test, I'm not sure, but he said he was on the way to take a test, called them just to be like, hey, we still good for this? And they said on their end, we just heard it was canceled. So he goes,
nice.
he goes, I don't even know. Did she cancel on my behalf? And then all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. Like, he was so paranoid that he was calling on the way to the day. Hey, make sure I'm coming in. You know, they're like, oh, you are? We thought you weren't. And it's like, holy cow, this is wild. Because clearly on his end, you can see he's begging for these tests to be out there.
And that doesn't, for some reason, I mean, that should be shocking, but for some reason it's like, yeah, okay, I figured she'd probably be the one doing that.
And this was one of the biggest things used against him early on, was like, oh, he's refusing to take the test. I mean, that's easy. If you do refuse to take these types of tests, yes, you probably would be sort of like seen as the guilty party here.
Yeah.
And then you find out his end, which is like, no, I wanted to show up. I just didn't want to date her. I didn't want to have to do a trip to Iceland just to find out if I knocked her up from a blowy.
Well, but she suffers from generalized epilepsy, which causes grand mal seizures. I mean, and which has caused the pregnancy to be labeled as high risk.
I hate to be crass, but did we look into the idea that maybe a blowjob accompanied by an epileptic kind of moment could have like shook the babies into place? I don't know.
Or maybe that's where the got off twice came from.
Yeah, it's like a double. Put the quarters in the bed there and it vibrates.
Sorry, anybody that has epilepsy. We're not talking about you. We're talking about her. Because does she even have that? We don't know.
We don't know.
As evidenced by the fact that patient was referred to a high-risk specialist from the start. Petitioners requested expedited consideration by the Honorable Judge Mata because there are urgent issues the petitioner needs to discuss with the respondent regarding her pregnancy with his twins that impact the health and well-being of both the petitioner as well as her unborn twins with respondent. There is no order of protection between the parties that would prevent them from meeting up in person to discuss this, or for that matter, that would have prevented good faith consultations from taking place in the past. Wherefore, I want the court to order CLAYTON ECHARD to communicate immediately regarding the urgent issues with her twin pregnancy. And I want him to order CLAYTON to pay any and all court costs, fees, and the like in connection with bringing this litigation to the court's attention. And that this honorable court order any and all additional relief is deemed just and proper in the circumstances. So she's doing this, and she wants him to pay for it, not just pay for the tests. She wants him to pay for her ridiculous motion she's just filed to please make him talk to me, which I guess was denied, if I recall correctly. Of course,
I don't even know if she cares that he pays for it. I think it's the threat of this being expensive. It's the threat of it being expensive. It's the threat of it going public. Like, you'll see all the terms she uses about like speeding things up. I talked about this with Megan Fox, right? This is urgent. If we don't do this now, we can't, it's always like a hard sale. Everything's a hard sale. And when you're being hard sold like that, it bypasses your logical aspect of your brain. You're like, all right, well, this is urgent. We need to do this. And at this point now, it's pain. Like, let's make this guy pay the price.
Yeah, see, and I don't really think it's that urgent because you just wait and you'll find out who the parent is.
Well, and again, we have if you ran this life simulation 1,000 times, we don't know how this would have ended. But in this simulation, we called her out every step of the way. Mm-hmm. And trust me, it sucks, in October early on to make a video where you go, I think she's faking it, and I think she's going to fake a miscarriage. It sucks to have to make that video. Yeah. Luckily, we provided all the evidence to people where everyone goes, I think that's going to happen too. And then she's watching every video, and she must go, well, I can't fake it now. And we just hammered on her. You're not going to fake this. You're not going to fake this. And I mean, it got to the point where we were like, I mean, what is she going to fly to some country and claim she gave these babies up for adoption? Like we thought of crazy things. And to be honest, we still don't know what happened. Abduction's on the table. Bigfoot snatched them. Who knows? She was bathing in a river quarry and Bigfoot came in, and we don't know. All she said is she's lost the babies.
Well, see, and then that's the thing that you talked about, and I mentioned last week, I know Megan did, is the last week. That was the first time any of us heard the word miscarriage being used by her, which again triggers this. Where's the death certificate?
And
I mean, that was a dumb thing to say.
The only thing, and people have gotten mad at me for sharing this idea with her, but the only thing she could do is claim like psychosis. She had the miscarriage and still presented as if she was pregnant for another 6 months. You know what I mean? Like that would be her only play. But if she did wait till 24, 25 weeks, then, you know, where's the evidence?
Well, she was what, 100% absolutely pregnant. What was it, 22, 23 weeks into it? And then miraculously she gets a new lawyer, and that day she's no longer pregnant. I think she had a good come to Jesus meeting with her lawyer.
We have sources that have come forward to me that have been in the room and have seen her and say, this ain't it. She's not. I mean, we don't need the sources. We've seen her jumping horses where she's like, it's like, listen, my wife's 6 months pregnant. You can tell when somebody's pregnant. Okay. You can hide it in a trench coat maybe, but not in a form-fitted equestrian, corset or whatever.
Well, suppose we could. Does your wife want to be jumping horses at 6 months pregnant?
No, she doesn't want to stand for more than 2 minutes at a time. And what we saw in that live stream was she was standing at a standing desk. Why was she standing at a standing desk? I'll tell you why, because the thing didn't look believable when she was sitting. That's why.
Yeah.
Why else? She probably sat down and realized like, oh shoot, it's rubbing up here. I can't. Oh boy. Oh, but if I stand up, it's pretty nice. Okay. Yeah. Stand up for 2 hours. Why? You don't have a stool? You don't own a stool?
And somehow adjust your baby up over your tit. And, say, well, that wasn't supposed to be seen.
That's the craziest part of the story. I'm telling you, the turning point on this whole story is when I texted Clayton and said, we all watched the live stream. And he goes, what? There was live stream? Yeah, it was. And it was insane, Well,
and I did love we still haven't watched that. Maybe we'll do that next week. Maybe we'll watch that hearing. We'll just like, Judge, can I show my baby? She's like, no. The judge should have said, yes, whip up that dress, honey. Let's see the flesh.
Yeah. Show me your belly button, poking out of your, you know what I mean? Show me the line, the vein, that's what's beautiful about pregnancy. You see veins working. You can literally see the kids kung fuing sometimes. I mean, pregnancies are, it's really a miracle here. And what an abuse of actual, of this thing that women, when they're so fortunate to do, can give birth. It's such a beautiful miracle that us men have no idea about. I stub my toe and it's the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And here they are just pushing kids. And then she's like, it's just fan fiction.
Wait, you need to go into preacher mode here. You don't need the sources. We've seen Laura jumping horses. Get Johnny Cochran in there to give your defense. We don't need the sources. We've seen her jumping horses.
When you jump the gate, it must be fate. You not pregnant. But it's like, okay, last year her sister had a baby.
Show Vagine. Show Bob's. Milk truck arrives.
Pull your yoga pants up and show us something.
Or don't.
or don't. But either way, it was fun to see the judge shut it down. Yeah. But, look. Like I said, like Laura's Jean's sister, she had a baby last year, right? And she probably got a whole ton of attention. People are showing up delivering, quiches and pot pies and presents, and it's like, sibling rivalry here. And then, don't get me wrong, Jane was accusing people of pregnancy. We thought Clayton was the third victim.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about this.
Victim number 5, and those are victims that she claimed got knocked up by. We've got victims that were former people in her lives. I'm being sort of vague to protect their identity, that were psychologically manipulated by her, claims she was going to commit suicide if these people didn't talk to her. One victim, I don't even know if I've shared this on my channel. I shared this on my Patreon. One victim.
You get a freebie here, folks. So just for that, make sure you go over to Dave Neal Comedians and subscribe to his channel, and then go to his Patreon, because you're getting a freebie here, folks.
Yeah. Also, you'll know on the afternoon Bachelor Rush Hour podcast whether or not I'm going to trial, because whatever trial, I don't know what it's called, but I still don't know. But she had I believe we're referring to him as victim number 1, who I'm assuming he was going no contact with her. She claims that she overdosed, went to the ER, and wouldn't get treatment until he contacted her. The people that have shared this story with me have said, we don't even believe she overdosed. We believe she took an Ambien or something. But either way, that's their telling of what happened.
Well, that's when you just sit back and go, promise you're not going to get treated unless I talk to you.
We get a doctor on the line. Does anyone remember this? Yeah, they're like, yeah, she just came sleepy. She was just sleepy. To get on the phone, it's like, all right, just take a sleeping pill.
So if I don't talk to you, you don't get treated for your OD. All right, bye. Click.
Yeah, pass her out. But either way, I mean, I'd have to do the math. I feel like that could have been a decade ago for all we know. So this wasn't, Mike, which was initially victim number 1, who now seems to be victim number 3. We thought, well, maybe worst case scenario, maybe he was a piece of shit and she's tried to relive the trauma of that. Nope. He was a piece of shit because he tried his best to deal with her with all the other stresses of life and realized there was no winning. Like he tried to negotiate with her, whereas Clayton was like, nope, not playing this game. Mike literally went to Iceland to try to live this fantasy so she would knock the baby out.
See, and there's lots of active volcanoes in Iceland. Missed opportunities.
Missed.
But, now who's patient 0 then? Who was number 5 that showed up?
Well,
I purposely didn't watch that because I wanted to hear it from you directly.
So the ER guy would be technically 1, and number 2, I believe, is Mike. Number 4 is Greg. And number 5 is Clayton. Number 3 is a dude that was between Mike and Greg. And he doesn't
like the Rogue One of the Star Wars saga.
Yeah,
like
his name
fits there in the middle.
We're calling him Victim A. He's his name's Andrew, and he just doesn't want to be a part of it. He doesn't want people looking into him. He's probably got a family now. And you can just understand the hell of a drug it is to, like Greg didn't have that luxury. When your court papers are out there, you don't have that luxury. Andrew and this other guy, I think his name's Matt, they have the luxury of saying, and again, it's not a luxury, but they can go, look, all right, that was dumb. I can't believe I was sucked into all of this, blah, blah, blah. But they can just move on with their life and not without this paper trail. But their stories still exist. And these stories have been told to me from multiple people that seem super credible. They showed me their identity, verified, and they just want it to end. They just go, all right, enough's enough. I mean, she's done this to people. Now she's harassing Liz Neptune, who's a Black content creator. And it's like, look, it's one thing to have the cops called on Clayton, a tall white guy. It's another to have it called on a person of color who, like, historically, whose side are, you know what I mean? It can be like, I mean, imagine if Clayton was a Black guy. Imagine if the cops showed up and he didn't want to deal with it. There could be a scenario very easily where this ends violently, and it's all because of her fan fiction.
And Colton McKay with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Dave. Regardless of the case outcome, what you are doing takes real courage and moral character, and your pursuit is one that is just and admirable.
Oh, well, thank you, Colton. Good to see you over here. Colton's been following.
Thank you so much for your first super chat on my channel too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Woo.
There's a little balloon here with the number 1 next to it. It says congratulate you and thank you for it. So congratulations and thanks. Appreciate that. And seriously, you again get pulled unwilling. Literally, what have you done? You've done nothing but just report what is publicly out there. And you're doing her a favor by not even mentioning her name.
Yeah, I made this one joke with Law Talk with Mike where he told the story about how she had that issue. The TEDx talk is about being on a flight, and I said I wish it was the Malaysian flight. And of course, I immediately thought that was someone goes, that's not funny. I go, it's funny. It's you can decide whatever. It's not hilarious. It was a funny quip. So that's what she's now used to say I'm threatening danger, and I'm like, that's a joke. You can, you have to be able to, and maybe she truly doesn't understand. Maybe there is something going on where she's truly doesn't understand that, but like, I'm not your enemy here. The legal system should be, she should be more worried about a hefty lawsuit. And that's the next question people have is, what will these guys do? Like when February 27th is over and when Clayton's case ends and when the judge rules on whatever, what will all these other men do? And will there be a lawyer, maybe it's Woodnick Law, that comes together and says, I'm going to represent all of you, and we're going to seek damages the right way through civil, through the real court system, not this family court. We're going to go to big boy court. I don't know if that's going to happen, but at this point, so much to me, Woodnick Law has They've got all of Greg's case file, all of Clayton's. They know the whole story. But so they already have all of the info. Will they pursue her in the actual court system? I don't know. I've heard zero talk of this, but I don't see why not. I mean, as a lawyer, would they be able to just do some sort of hefty contingency where they get paid, everyone gets paid, but it's more like symbolic, like that the record shows?
Yeah, well, that's what I said. The problem is you've got to have assets to get anything out of it. But I mean, if you're suing for like $1, that'd be great, but you're not going to find anyone that's going to give you a contingency fee unless she's got some serious assets, because you're looking at $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to file a lawsuit. And if you win, what's she got to pay you with?
She's got some property, but I don't think she's got much like in the property. So I don't, but our parents are wealthy and they have been complicit. So I think you would have to tie them in. I mean, it seems that they've been complicit. You can see on all of the court documents, the dad tried to say, the dad tells the first guy, Mike, or maybe it was Mike, just play along with her, answer her phone calls, and we'll deal with this later. Well, what does Mike get out of it? He had a lawsuit. He gets sued, he gets a restraining order against him. So it's like, clearly these parents played a part, and they are wealthy. So, I mean,
it would just seem to me that Clayton it seems like he just wants vindication out of this. He just wants it proven that she was never pregnant or that it was never his.
Right. And I know that, but at the same time, having seen her strategy, when the dust settles and she gets bored, does she talk about this as she's the victim? Does she rewrite it? And people have that worry for me. Do I agree to her stipulation? And if I do, is she going to use that against me in the future? Someone said, well, what if her stipulation for me was, I'll stop suing you if you agree not to kick dogs? And I go, all right, I'm not a dog kicker. Sure, whatever. And then a year from now, she goes, former YouTuber who's a known dog kicker, said he wouldn't kick dogs anymore. I don't know. So it might be better for me to just hop on a flight and go over there, whether she shows up or not. But, I just don't, it's not worth the YouTube video I'll make from the steps. It's not worth a couple grand. Or maybe
that's the problem. You can't adjudicate crazy. Crazy is going to be crazy, whether a judge tells them to be crazy or not. Or tells them not to be crazy. They're still going to do crazy shit.
And what you learn, or what I've learned is, well, first of all, you see this on the highest level of court. You see like politicians dodging subpoenas. Yeah. How am I supposed to get Chase J. Jones to not dodge a subpoena? Like where's the recourse here for like actually just trying to find the truth? So I feel like she can just not show up to this deposition. What's going to happen? I mean, I would love it if the judge is like, if you don't show up to this deposition, you're for sure going to lose. But I don't know if that's the case. Although you would think that now that they're fighting over legal fees, I mean, you would think that Clayton's got at least $50,000 to $80,000 in legal fees here.
Oh, at least.
Right. So like if it's as simple as he showed up to the depot and she didn't, all right, you got to pay him. I mean, that's a hefty amount of money. It might not be like a deal breaker amount, but she lives with her parents. I don't think she does anything else for work. Her podcast has been pretty irrelevant for a long time. So maybe that is a lot of, I know it'd be a lot of money for me if I had to pay someone 6 figures. So, that is a punishment, but again, does it twist the knife metaphorically, not physically there, Janie? Is it enough to like really get her to stop? I don't know.
And see, people, she seems to be the attention-seeking type that no matter what happens, it's not going to stop her from doing it to somebody else. And there's always somebody that's going to stick their dick in crazy. Like how Amber Heard ever gets another date in her life is fucking beyond me. But someone's going to do it. Someone's going to go, hey, this is a great thing. Someone's going to look at Jane Doe and go, all right.
Someone left a comment and said, leave the parents out of it. That's what was my initial thought. But having talked to Clayton, he's like, no, I know the mom. I know they've covered for her. I know they've been in the room. I mean, he's had like,
they do the joint podcast together.
Yeah.
She knows her daughter's not fucking pregnant.
Oh yeah. Well, so what I've heard, another source, very, very close to this family. I mean, we're talking between 0 and 1 degrees, has told me that the father, who I thought was previously in such poor shape that maybe he wasn't part of this, but that he's wondered how he can be a part of a documentary to share their side. And I mean, at some point, it's like, look, the documentary is going to get made. Are you able to frame this in a way where she's got severe mental issues from a fall she took on a horse, and because of that we've tried to kind of correct her and corral her? I mean, I could entertain I could entertain that story. We try to keep her stable, as it were, in the stable. Lock the stable up, please. Just give her a bale of hay and say, don't harm anybody.
But we need the judge to go all Steve Martin.
Into the mud, scum queen.
I've just been waiting to play that, so I had to get it out of the way before I forgot. That's just been on my mind. But wouldn't it be interesting if it was kind of similar to what you're saying? There's like, look, there's 3 sides to this story. They're her side, your side, and our side. This is what we've been dealing with. That would actually be an interesting side to see. I mean, if it was a legit story, not just them covering for her. Because I have one acquaintance, and I can't call him a friend because there's those times when you just want to punch him in the neck. But he's just odd enough that his super rich parents pay him a monthly stipend to leave them the fuck alone. She's like, here, just take your money and don't contact us. And so that would be interesting if there was something like that going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, look, maybe it's like a controlled bomb going off. They're the bomb squad, and they've put her in this little house in the backyard, and they've said, you can't hurt anybody here. And she's like, I'm on, dating sites. Sure, I can. So it's like maybe they don't understand that they've done so much psychological, or to their credit, maybe they didn't understand until now. Maybe with this case, it's like they're able to fully see it. But with that all said, I know from the same sources that the mom has wondered what she could do to stop me legally. So like, it's like, well, which one is it? Because if the mom is trying to stop me legally, then I need to get every YouTuber on the phone and make it bigger than me so that you can't just peg people off. I mean, she for a long time before you guys heard of this story, she was pegging people off left, and maybe pegging up people off is the wrong term here, but she was just snipering us one after another, and people just stopped. And again, that's where part of like my own paranoia and my own mental health issues, again, not a big deal. Now I've luckily, like, this was months ago, but I've had to wonder, like, am I on the wrong side of this? Am I making some grave mistake that's going to bankrupt my family and cost me? It's like, no, my logical side overwhelmed my side that was afraid of it, because I was like, I know what truth looks like. I know she faked these ultrasounds. I know all these things happened, and I know that she repeated this time and again. But at the same time, enough people were afraid, and like, enough people aren't monetized on their YouTube channels where they go, nope, not monetized, side job, don't need it, going on. That's fine. But with my channel, I would be so disingenuous, and my audience would not trust me as a person if I just was like, no, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to let Clayton fry. No, not going to happen.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that the tactics she uses are all of these things that play on men. I'm ODing. I'm just going to die unless you contact me. And I'll give you control over my pregnancy if you just date. Who says that in real life? If there's a way in which she can get a third party to control a man, she will. Real estate. Well, you're my real estate agent. You have to contact me because I put an offer in. So she files a claim against Clayton for not putting an offer in on her. So we have real estate. We have the hospital. We have the police. I mean, the fire department? What is she going to call next? Like, what's the next? We both have our names on the utility bill. I'm going to shut off your electricity if you don't. We're like, what else can she do? Like, she's played every card she can. Well, I'm sure that a lot of people, maybe most people, have heard the story of the police report. Why don't you tell them when the police are like, okay, we know what's going. We want the evidence.
I'm going to make my video on this as soon as we get offline, but it's like the police are onto her. The papers that just came out showed that they took her story, but then they go, where's your evidence? And she doesn't have any. And then the detective says, just for the record, the thing she's doing to Clayton, she already did to a guy named Greg Gillespie. So the police, because these two were both in Scottsdale, I think were able to figure it out. The previous guy was in San Francisco. If she traveled from state to state like a used car salesman, she could probably do this in every state or every county, but she just so happened to do it several times in the same county, and it seems like they were onto her.
Well, and I loved how the cop said it was so similar. Like the cover, it was virtually identical to what she did to the last guy that she called us on.
Which is so frustrating when the judge didn't want to hear previous cases. And this judge seems to have been pretty good. Maybe it's because she already made her mind up and didn't want to open up a whole new can of worms. I don't know. Yeah. But it's like, you have to know the previous cases to know what she's about to do. She has not veered off course. She has pretty much done the exact same things. Pretend you got knocked up to coerce a guy, and then do the plan B. When the plan B expires, do the abortion. When that expires, do the miscarriage. I mean, she's literally same exact thing to multiple men.
And I mean, I hope the judge really, really holds her to the 24 week. I guess it's 20 weeks in Arizona, isn't it? Where you need the death certificate.
Yeah, I mean, I believe so. And it's one of those things, how do you find something that doesn't exist? So she's not to be able, and what you get to see with all of these new documents. So essentially we've known the whole story. We've all known logically what went down. Now, as we're seeing all of the minutes, all of the phone calls, all of the things play out from several months ago, we're just like piecing it together, and it's even more clear, which is that she was, when we get Clayton's side, he was begging for evidence. Send me an ultrasound. All right, she does. Well, have your provider send it to me. I would you talk about this guy, have him call me. I mean, this happens all the time. When we moved from California to Tennessee, you call the gynecologist. Hey, we moved. Okay, I'm going to fax all the information over to the new guy. Done. Yeah. They do it non-stop. Like they have secretaries or administrative assistant. They push these papers out, and she couldn't get on the phone and have her guy call Clayton. That wasn't enough. Never happened.
Well, Kimmy, who's been a wonderful supporter for the last 9 months. Thank you, Kimmy. Does Clayton now have to rethink his career as a realtor? In that line of work, contact information has to be public. Would psychos keep stalking him?
I think he's done as a realtor. I don't think he needs it. I think, I mean, he just launched his Airbnb. If anyone is going to visit
nice
Scottsdale,
house.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I go to the trial in March, I'm going to stay there and invite a bunch of people to stay with me. We'll be podcasting. Feel free to come down. I know it's a long flight for you, but it's Scottsdale's great. I love Scottsdale. It's one of my favorite towns. I might, for any audience out there, I might have a show there end of March. And if I do a show there, I'm going to stay at Clayton's Airbnb, and it'll be a ton of fun. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't think. I mean, real estate sucks. It's a hard industry. The reason why a lot of, I think, influencers get into it is because you do have a platform of people that might want to work with you. That's that same platform that will attract what happened here. And another thing that's interesting, which I shared on my page, I don't even know if I made a real dedicated video about this, is that a source says, so Jane says, oh, I don't even know Clayton, whatever, no big deal. But then when you see, I don't watch The Bachelor, then maybe she didn't watch his season, but when you see, when you see it all play out, she's like, you're a great realtor. He's like, I just got my license. I don't know any of these terms. So she was fluffing him up so that he would work with her. And then now she goes, I don't even know The Bachelor. A source tells me she auditioned for the show 10 years ago. She's probably like 33. So she auditioned for it. And I've reached out to casting directors that cast the show at that time. They have not gotten back to me. Clearly, they don't think this is interesting to them. But we might have, and just in case, because I'm sure she's watching, if she's ever asked in court, hey, did you ever audition for The Bachelor? I'd be interested to see what she says, because wouldn't it be fun if she says no, and then we just play a video being like, yeah, hey, how are you? I'm Jane Doe. I love horses, And I mean, again, maybe she didn't audition, but I don't have any reason to believe my source would lie about this. And it seems to be that maybe that was the origin story, that she never got cast. Maybe that's the origin story here. I don't know.
I didn't get my pony when I was 12, so I turned into a Spider-Man villain. Exactly. But I just think it'd be funny if, like, now 6-7 years from now, you're walking down the hallway there in your house, and You just see the twins at the back of the hallway going, Dave, we want you to play with us forever and ever and ever.
I'm going to call them Fetal and DNA.
Yeah.
These are their two names.
Oh, this is such a weird thing. And then she comes after him for contempt. She wants to hold him who's done nothing but give me the evidence. Come out, show me this. She wants to hold him in contempt. Or what was the stupid phrase she used? Something like, I'm gonna file you for contempt, or I'm gonna file a contempt or something. She misused some legal term that I thought was hilarious. Just shows why you need a lawyer to do these things.
Yeah, I mean they are so sick of dealing with her. But yeah, this new lawyer, he's still there. I mean, she had, like we said, she crashed Clayton's deposition. And from lawyers that I talked to, they said, one lawyer said in 10 years, this only happened once. And it was the person was so guilty, they wanted to intimidate the other person. If you go to the deposition, you just watch. I don't understand.
You sit there and you do this at him the whole time. Well, I did love the exchange of emails that we covered last week with the new lawyer and Clayton's lawyer, where he's like, to paraphrase, what a shit show I found myself wrapped up in. I hope we can at least be civil to each other in other cases in the future. I mean, that was such lawyer speak for holy fuck. What have I gotten myself into? Please don't hate me for this.
And Woodnick seems to be a pretty big deal in Maricopa County. He's a professor. I think he's a professor at one of the colleges. So he knows a lot of lawyers. He's like taught a lot of the lawyers there. And this poor guy's like, oh boy, did I step in shit on this one? But I think Woodnick would probably appreciate that. He's like, all right, he's going to treat it as a chess match and try to play whatever hand he has. But yeah, not great.
No, it was just great. And his reply to that, was I'm sure you've sent your CYA letter to your client telling her she really should be at that deposition. There's a lot of back and forth going with the lawyers that are just like, look, I know I'm in a really horrible position. I've got a crap client. I'm what's he like, number 4? Number 4?
Well, maybe for this case, but she's had a dozen.
Yeah.
And my case, I don't know if I told you this. The lawyers she has for my case didn't even know she was supposed to be pregnant. They were like, this is a harassment case. And my lawyer had to be like, guys, it's because she's supposed to be pregnant. That's what this is about. And they were like, oh, they didn't even know. Was anyone doing any Google searching of these things?
Oh, I feel bad for lawyers that have clients like this, because they're like, ugh, all right, we're wrapped up in it now. Now we just got to kind of save face, and we can't lie, which
it's like when I have to take a gig at a comedy club that sucks, but I have to take it because it's like, well, my career is not in a place where I can turn this down. And you'd think, no offense to some of these lawyers, but like, Daddy's got to pay some bills. I got to take this case. And it's like, as long as the check clears, but is it? I don't even know. I mean, we don't know if she's paying for it or she has, she has told me in threatening emails that there are fertility organizations very much looking into this case, which is scary because, I mean, imagine if there's an organization that's there to help women and she's sucking their funds out, no pun intended here. There's been accusations she's also had support of the ACLU in the past. I mean, these organizations are meant to help people. They're just on the wrong side of it because she's good at getting her story to people that might not have the bandwidth to do the work to find the truth.
Well, we're 1 hour into this little 2-hour show here, so let's take a little midterm break here. And Dave, grift yourself a bit here. You haven't been pimping yourself nearly enough.
Well,
where are you? Where can people find you? For those that don't know,
thank you. So the best free way to support me is to join the podcast. Even if people don't listen to podcasts, I do it twice a day, 25 minutes, morning episodes, afternoon episodes. So I already have my morning one out, Bachelor Rush Hour podcast. There it is. If anyone wants to support the private Patreon, we've had about 5,000% growth on that. I'll be live at noon today, Central Time Zone, patreon.com/Dave Neal. And that'll be my last update before I get on this flight. So I just checked my email now to see if this thing's dismissed. It's still not. So at some point I need to just prepare for it and get on that flight, but I'll let the Patreon know there. And by the way, I'm supposed to have a call with my lawyer in like 20 minutes or so. So
bail when you got to go.
I might have to bail in like 10 or 15 if that's okay.
Oh no, you were here at all, so that's a blessing to me.
Yeah, no, I'm happy.
The more you talk, the less I have to. So
you have such a funny audience. I mean, they're really smart here. You know, it's like my audience wasn't legal people, but now we've all kind of got educated, and it's fun to mix with people that know the legal system because, you know, we look at it and we go, is this how it's supposed to be done? This is crazy, right? And then your people go, this is, and you go, okay, cool. All right. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if there was something I was missing here.
And look, people, I mean, to tell you, just go make sure you're at least subscribed to Dave's YouTube channel because I enjoy watching that as part of my morning. I give zero shits about The Bachelor, but I already know way more about The Bachelor than I should. I mean, at some point I feel like I'm gonna have to kick my own ass for knowing so much about The Bachelor, but it's a great entertaining show, and I listen to it habitually now, mostly lurker mode while I'm getting ready for work. And
that's what the podcast, the strategy for me is that Bachelor Rush Hour will then be called The Rush Hour, and we'll have some Bachelor content, but it's still probably about 80% non-Bachelor. It's just I got to feed the beast of the niche. And then also try to broaden it from there. But you know how it is on YouTube. It's like, God, you know, my other channel, I had to cancel it after the Johnny Depp trial because once everyone came for that. And then once it was over, everything else bombed. So it's like YouTube's kind of not exactly.
Yeah. And then you talk about anything else and YouTube goes, oh, never mind. You changed.
Yeah. Your click-through rate goes down. You're like, oh, this guy, F him, get out of here. So I've kind of got to feed that beast on YouTube, but also grow the podcast with some new non-Bachelor stuff. And
I'm just joking because I mean, who am I to talk? I have a weird Real Housewives thing. That's my thing. Beverly Hills and New Jersey.
I did say if The Bachelor gets canceled, I'm going to go full 100% into the Bravo universe because the Bravo universe is the only world that's like The Bachelor with these parasocial relationships that exist outside the show.
But like weirdly, I mean, I'm from just north of Salt Lake City, but I can't get into Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because it's too real. I know the places they go. I go to the bars they hang out in. I know it's just sort of like it's like watching junior high again, real close, or middle school as you youngsters call it.
How often do you make it back?
About once a year, every summer. I'll be back in May. Gonna do Vegas for a few days, and then
how long do you stay for?
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. Just kind of throw it all in.
Yeah.
I was in Houston last summer for 5 days. I learned real quick. Mid-August is not the time to visit Houston.
Yeah, that sounds sweaty.
It was bad. It was really bad. But it was fun. Marv White with a $2 super chat. Thank you. Will he cover the Great Moonshine Conspiracy? Lol. Well, so at some point we'll talk about the Great Moonshine Conspiracy. But thanks for the $2. keep it up, Marv. Someday you'll be right. Someday you'll be right. But yeah, so I mean, reality shows are so fun. Everybody's kind of got the one, and mine happens to be the Real Housewives.
Yeah, we just want to be part of it. There's something in our soul that wants to see the drama, but from the periphery. I enjoy covering drama, but the second I'm in it, I'm like, oh god damn, this sucks. We want to be on the outside looking in. We want we want that one crazy relative that we can talk about, and that's all reality TV is everyone knows the same crazy relative. It kind of gives us the same viewpoint on this family or these friend groups we're looking at, but we're not necessarily.
That's the Real Housewives problem, though. It's a constantly deleting pool of people because everybody either gets divorced and or goes to jail. So it's like The Walking Dead, that the stars are going to drop off at some point. You just don't know when. I don't know if there's.
But like that's Vanderpump, right? Vanderpump Rules was like dropping off, and then something crazy happens. It's like if you put enough people on a show, somebody's going to have tax fraud or kill somebody. Like something crazy is going to spill out into like mainstream media, and then they suck you back in. And that's kind of like The Bachelor. Whenever there's like quiet waters on a random morning, I'm like, oh, something's about to drop. And it's always like this case, something comes up and you go, that's insane. And then
we got Vanderpump's husband walking around with one of the dogs petting it. You know, something's going to go down.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. He's a homie from Utah. Dave needs to make it out to Utah sometime. I'm sure he's been to St. George.
I've been to St. George. I've definitely drove through there, and I love Salt Lake City. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I hear they have a great comedy club though, so I would love to make it out there.
There's a couple there that, you know, that, I mean, it's not what you're looking at on East and West Coast, but you know.
Well, a lot of people film there, or at least record their albums there, because the audiences are so good. So there must be.
We're starved for real entertainment out there.
That's what we like. Just we want to find someone who's not jaded and overwhelmed by, you know, entertainment. So that's good.
Ginver with the 5 pounds. Does the Great Moonshine Conspiracy have a long pork barbecue? No, there's no cannibalism involved in the Moonshine Conspiracy. Stop. They're going to force me to talk about that one day. Legal Vices, Real Housewives equals junior high plus alcohol. True. And that's always, yeah, you just know they're just feeding them booze left and right. Here, drink more. That'll make it fun. But, well, I mean, what kind of money do the Bachelors make off the show?
It's bad the last couple of years. I mean, a couple of years ago, the contestants, not even the lead, but the lead gets between $100,000 to $200,000. You know,
that's
but
all.
When you take away the costs, I mean, you're that money goes real quick. I'm assuming.
Well, you take a third for the taxes. I'm sure they've got their agents and managers, and
then also God. They can't. Then they're under contract for 1 or 2 years, depending on their contract, where they can't just take brand deals right after. Yeah. But what was interesting, a couple of years ago, you had contestants that weren't even like a top 3. And they didn't get paid at all, but they'd get 1 million followers out of it. They're all still cashing in. The current people, the current crop, it's like they get 20,000 Instagram followers. They don't make a penny after it. So it's kind of a weird time right now in the influencer world. But, you know, I mean, that's it. It's like you went on the show because you were rudderless and had nothing else to do. So like make with it what you can. Still the cream rises to the top. There's people get good podcasts that come out of it, but it is kind of looking for its identity right now because I think it got oversaturated after the pandemic.
Oh, Megan's here. Dave is so funny. I started watching The Bachelor again just so I can know what he's talking about. He explains it enough that I don't actually have to watch The Bachelor.
No, you don't need to watch it. If something crazy happens, we'll talk about it enough. But thank you, Megan. I appreciate that. Yeah, The Bachelor.
I just don't watch it. I don't care about it. But now I'm going, okay, now what'd this person do? What?
Now that's how it is. There's always like the husband, this show's stupid. Jeffrey said what? And, you know, the show's just, I mean, you've got this episode, which I'll recap on my channel right after this. You've got this beautiful woman named Maria, and she's being completely manipulated by the villain who wouldn't be on the show if she didn't do the producer's work. And it's like rationally, we all know that this is sort of fabricated, but even Maria's watching it going like, I can't believe she's twisting my words like this. And Maria's like bombshell, beautiful Canadian girl, great features, funny, all these things. And yet the villains are just chipping away at her. And it's sad to watch, but like that's the show. It's a cult. You know, they take your phones and they give you alcohol and they make you do stupid shit.
Janina too says, Dave, Neal, never thought I'd see you at the Law Rack site. Love your comedy.
Hey,
I'm you know, I have to reach out to my betters to have them on my channel so that you all watch. You know?
How nice.
Well, now, I know you. When's your out time? How much
I could do like 10 more minutes.
Well, let's talk about you and your stuff and what's going on with you. I know we for the next 10 minutes. We don't know if you have to go there yet. I assume you're gonna be. You have a lawyer, right?
Yes.
Oh, thank fuck for that. I don't have to yell at you on my show. Far too many people. No, I'll handle this myself.
First thing I did, and everyone, you know, we had already set up our GoFundMe for Clayton, and everyone's like, we need one for you, Dave. And I was like, well, let's just wait and see. And then I wake up one morning and I get an email from Jane Doe with the receipt, because all Jane Doe cares about is to intimidate. So yeah. I mean, how often when you're trying to serve someone an order of protection, do you warn them? So she warns me, I paid for this process server. I'm going to serve you an order of protection today. So I just expected it was going to happen. And at that moment, I got a lawyer. The GoFundMe came through. People donated. They were fantastic. I have no idea what the final, bill is going to be. But I found a lawyer that through a friend who normally represents men in family court. Now, obviously this isn't family court, but it's this, but I was like, you know what? This is close enough. Like her manipulation tactics are so close to what she gets away with that this will be good to have someone who knows like their way around the judges and all the different, so he's been around for a long time. But I already noticed other people have, anyway, I don't want to get too much into my lawyer, but he's been good and he watches my content and I don't even communicate with him too much because he'll just watch my videos and see what's going on.
and he'll bill you.
Yeah, and he'll be like, "All right, I love the thing you did," and I'm like, "Great." I mean, he's like, I hate to say it, but I'm sucked in. I'm like, well, that's what YouTube does. You start watching these 10, 15 minute long videos where you can just put the video on and eat a bowl of cereal, and next thing you know, you're sucked in like we are. But he, I was like, "Should I book a refundable flight?" And he said, "Yeah." So I paid extra money for a refundable flight. I think I have until like 20 minutes before the takeoff to cancel my flight. So I might just be like, I might head to the airport at 2 p.m. today. I think it's like a 5 p.m. flight or something. Or, I don't know. I don't know. I thought we would have dismissed this yesterday. So I'll have a big breaking news video if that does get dismissed, but I'll have to be very careful to say, look, and you know what? It would be nice. I like her stipulation is so generous that she wants me to agree to something I've already agreed to, which is to not, essentially encourage anyone to hurt her or harass her, which is like, yeah, of course.
I mean, we shouldn't have to say that, but I mean, we probably don't talk to her, don't email, don't talk to anybody about, don't harass the lawyer. Just she's a non-entity we're just making fun of. Just leave it at that.
That's it, right? And there's enough. The system, the pendulum always swings past the target, so the system will play itself out. But like, if you don't want to watch her podcast, don't watch her podcast. I always tell people that. Like, I'm not big into this whole like collective canceling. Like, the market's gonna decide what it wants to do with her podcast. Okay, she'll like, but I don't want her to use that against me and say, Dave's agreed to no longer harass me, so I'll drop my case. Like, that's not it. That's not going to be what I sign. I'll gladly fly over to Los Angeles and defend myself. But it'll suck if I get on this flight and then land in LA, turn my phone off airplane mode, and she's like, "Psych, I don't want to sue you." And it's like, good. Well, I'm still going to the court steps and making my stupid video. So. Like,
Well, I mean, it is not unusual for these things to get dropped like just before you walk into the courtroom, and then you walk in and go, "Just kidding, judge. We worked it out."
There's a good diner I like to go to in LA, so I'm going to get my pancakes. I'm going to go to Millie's Cafe, and I'm going to get my pancakes on Sunset. So worst case scenario, I get a good breakfast out of it. But yeah, it's a long way to go. I mean, literally, we just moved to Tennessee. They're delivering our dining room table today. We haven't even bought chairs yet because the chairs are expensive. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? I could have bought a fucking set of chairs. Instead, I got to go fly back to LA. So when my wife's leaning against my dining room table eating chicken cacciatore, the blood's on your hands, Jane Doe. The blood is on your hands.
Help Dave buy chairs. Subscribe to his Patreon. He needs chairs, people.
We have a love seat we've been sitting on. Come on, folks. No, we're happy at our home. We're just slowly picking the right furniture and all of that. But yeah, I mean, we should be focused on picking out our Nashville gynecologist, not on this. But again, I've had people, I can't complain. I've had friends where I go, "Oh, this freaking sucks." And they go, "Well, then why don't you just drop it?" Like, I'm like, that's not the right answer. That's not the right answer. Like, I should be allowed to both focus on the right path and also taking care of my family. I mean, it's whatever. Like, my wife, like I early on had conversations with my wife, and she's always very conservatively like, don't, I'll be like, "I got a video about the Chinese Communist Party." She's like, "Don't mess with them. Can we not do this? Can we not have the Chinese Communist Party again?" So she's very often like looking out for me. And with this scenario, she was like, "I get it. Like, you've done the right thing. I get it." So she's on board with that. But at the same time, I mean, she's in a state of mind where she's very sensitive to a lot of the things going on in my life. So when I end this conversation with you, I go in the other room and I try to talk about something else. Like, I just have to make sure she doesn't have any of the vicarious negative feelings here. And again, she's blissfully happy and she's glowing, she's beautiful, and our baby's kicking in the womb. It's amazing. I hate that when And I tell my audience, when we make a family vlog about our pregnancy, don't bring the Jane Doe stuff in there. Like leave that for me. Like, well, I can handle that, but like let's make her have this sort of a perfect rainbows and butterflies pregnancy, which she deserves. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, and like you're saying, you got to balance that. Where do we draw the line? But you still have to ultimately look at yourself in the mirror and go, all right, I need to stand up for myself. I need to put myself in this position. Yeah, and the pendulum may swing the other way to where you got to look at yourself and go, all right, I don't like where this has gotten me. It's time to pull the ripcord. But I mean, ultimately, you just have to be happy with what you're doing.
That's what it comes down to. And you see this a lot with comedians where sometimes if you're sort of financed by corporations, they want you to act a certain way. I did a corporate stand-up show 2 years ago that
I heard they're just the worst.
They're the worst. And it ended with me not getting paid until I met with their lawyers because my buddy made a fat joke about himself. He's a fat guy and he's 6'5" fat. And he said he lost weight and he's now uglier. And now he looks like a skinny John Goodman. Yuck. Like that was the whole joke. A lady leaves crying. Next thing you know, I'm like, well, there goes a couple $1,000 bucks. No. And I'm meeting with $1 billion corporation's lawyers where they're like, I think we can both agree you guys crossed the line. I was like, no, we're not going to agree to that. Yeah. So, and again, that's a stupid thing, but there'll be an instance where I have to decide, do I do the thing that's going to piss off a lot of people, but it's my right thing? And again, this shouldn't even have been that scenario. But when I was literally, there were plenty of times when I could have just been, like, all right, let's just curb this. But I was like, no, this isn't even close to a dilemma here. And in hindsight, it's almost foolish to look at it that way because it's so obvious. But in the time, this was before we got no fetal DNA results. All we knew was there was a fake ultrasound. But then everyone was like, well, maybe she faked a lot of things and she's still pregnant. And then obviously that didn't happen. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Like we just never had the why. We had her constantly trying to send evidence that was half-assed or half-baked, and the evidence, like her pregnancy, just ended up not existing. So,
but in fairness to your friend, John Goodman does look really weird, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he goes, I'm a sexy, fat man, but I'm an ugly, skinny guy, and it's like, well, I get it. I get it. Yeah, no, this lady,
Roseanne, you go, Roseanne kind of looks better.
She canceled us so fast. It was a 10 a.m. show. We went to lunch. People were taking photos with us at lunch. By the end of lunch, the whole Slack, the whole group corporate, thing was like, oh, who, she started, who was in charge of booking this? And everyone's like, oh boy. We literally didn't know we were canceled until like we finished our dessert. And I ended up getting paid several months later, but my comedian friend didn't get paid, so I paid him. Oh, no. And then I lost the $1,000, which is whatever. I got paid my end, but I was like, I'm not gonna not pay my buddy because it was
like the Hallmark show where you knew something had turned when you go to take your tray back and somebody trips you as you walk back there. Like, oh, wait a minute, they don't like us anymore.
Oh,
speaking of people that nobody likes, it's Megan Fox.
I heard we were making fun of the fats, and I had to get in here immediately because
oh boy,
you know what? You know how I feel about fat shaming. It's the new thing. We need to do it more often. Well, thrilled to hear you're on board with the fat shaming.
I'm not endorsing it. I don't need to get canceled. I've got enough fish to fry here. But it was one lady not liking a man's self-deprecation. And by the way, my friend is so funny. He's a national touring headliner, but one lady didn't like it and she raised hell, and it was a good mic.
She was fat.
Yeah, it was just a good example where you could see one person could ruffle the feathers enough to be like, "Dunzo, party's over."
But I mean, we don't need to tell
people
you.
People are
That's the point of comedy is. Comedy is supposed to hurt. I mean, it's not funny if it's just, we went and bought some bread at the store today. That's not fucking funny.
But it goes to show that's why I don't, no corporate money, none. Yeah. Now it's like, if they don't like what I'm doing, get out of here. Like, you just don't want to be bought by anybody. It's like, it makes so much sense how Dave Chappelle could turn down $50 million. He's like, why do I need your $50 million to have a boardroom of white men tell me what to say? I can go to a comedy club and be perfectly fine. Like once you realize what you need, your threshold, the rest doesn't matter. And I think that's why people do YouTube and content creating, because you don't want a boss to be like, we're not going to cover this story today because it doesn't align with our advertisers. It's like, so that's the rise of YouTube, is that YouTube's got the baked in ad system where like I don't have to worry about Prilosec coming after me if I'm anti-pharmacy or whatever, you know?
I've got to admit, though, I'm not made of the same cloth Dave Chappelle's made out of. I'd say, all right, I'm not going to take the next $50 million.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn my lesson from this first one. I'm not going to take the next 50 million.
Well, he just knew he could tour and make so much money anyway. Like so many comedians can make so much money. But again, YouTube's conservative in a different way. Like YouTube's for sure conservative. Like they don't want you to swear in the first minute. That's when they're trying to sell, Downy, laundry softener or whatever. So like I get it to an extent, but that's why like I hammer on the Patreon. It's like, you get me. You don't get the version of me that has to not swear or not be dirty or not do this or not do that. And that's why stand-up comedy's never been more popular, because it's like this thirst to just hear somebody tell the truth.
Well, keep doing it, man. You've turned Megan and I both onto this case, and other people as well. And
I'm even watching The Bachelor again because I had to know what was going on with this Maria character. So I got up this morning because Dave's been talking. I have to know what Dave's talking about because he's so funny and I watch him every day now. So now I'm like, well, I don't know who these people are anymore. So you were talking about Maria, and I went and I watched it this morning as I'm laying in bed. I literally woke up and the very first thing I did was turn on the television and turn on The Bachelor, which I haven't done in 10 years maybe. And I was dying laughing at how absolutely fake that setup was. Those producers, dang it.
I know. And Maria's like, she's a bombshell, but it always happens.
She's so pretty. Oh my Lord.
The beautiful person gets targeted because it's like, we got to take this person down. So they create these whole scenarios. Luckily for Joey, he's like, I'm attracted to you, so I'm going to believe you. And luckily I think he'll probably be on the right side of it, but they'll milk it for 2 or 3 more episodes. But
Maria's going all the way.
I want her to be the next Bachelorette because I know I've talked to her, and I mean, I don't know if she follows all of my channel, but she seems to know enough to know, like, all right, we always, because I don't always know all of the people on the show, but when I do, it's like we want them to give us the info, give us the inside scoop. But it's a trash show. Trash indeed.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm just glad. Like my dear sweet friend Abby, who I showed her comments earlier. I've loved her forever. She's just one of my most favorite people on planet Earth. She was so huge into The Bachelor and your show, Dave. So like every week I would get the breakdown from her. It's like, I got to go watch The Bachelor. And then she come back and go, here's what happened. I'm like, cool. That's enough info for me. Thanks.
Well,
so I would get it and I wouldn't have to watch it.
You get these 12 episodes, right? In 10 episodes, nothing happens. And then everything happens. And then it's like a bunch of like medical students watching surgery. So then we all get to talk about it because we're like, can you believe this? Wow, that wasn't great. And in every season, you get to see the whole fan base be manipulated, hate this person for being a bad guy. I'm going to be getting a lunch. I'm going to have this guy Braden Bowers on my show next week, and everyone hated him. And I met him and I was like, this guy's actually like really dynamic, cool, sweet. People love him in person. So like, just wait, so these fabricated villains are just, they're just decent people thrown into this sort of high limbic flare, high heightened energy situation. So
I have a feeling they hire people specifically to be the villain. I think the villain people are getting paid extra, not the ones that get set up with the bad cuts, but like the one with Maria, I don't know Sydney or whatever.
Sydney.
She's too ridiculous. It's too
Jesus,
ridiculous.
Megan, is there anything you don't have a fucking conspiracy theory about?
Well, but Megan's kind of right. So they have the show Bachelor in Paradise.
There it is.
So they have the show. So they reward bad behavior because then they say, we'll get you on the show over the summer. Yeah. But they might cancel Bachelor in Paradise. And if they do, there'll be no incentive because, I mean, Sydney, whether she's a good person in real life or not, she's coming off horribly. And that's going to stick with her for a long time. And it's like, at what cost? Was it worth it? They're not even getting paid. I get paid more than they do to watch Sydney mess up, so they're not even making money, but that's just like late stage capitalism. People they don't want their stupid corporate jobs. They want so badly to be an influencer, which I get it, that they're willing to subject themselves to these horrible situations where their likeness is edited and contrived and all that. So And then the audience every single season will completely hate them. And then once they do their post-show interview, they're like, all right, they weren't too bad. You know, and it's like, we never learn. It's just an
We
ongoing
never learn that
sport.
we're being manipulated by the producers.
What? Reality TV ain't real?
I would
No.
love, here's what I would love to see. I would love a reality show of like from the perspective of the cameramen on this show, like that are dealing with what the producers are telling them to do and who they're supposed to film. And just, I would love to hear like like what's happening behind the scenes.
This guy's kind of a dick. Let's ruin his reputation forever.
Right. There was that show, that television show. It was like dramatized like The Bachelor. What was it called? Unreal. That's what I would like to see, but real. I would like an entire show just on Bachelor producers, like former producers maybe, who would come out and talk about what they did.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
dang, that's gonna be unbelievable.
that's what they do. There's different producers for different contestants, and they essentially are just cattle prodding you, you know, and they did the same thing to Clayton.
It's true.
You know, they're like, all right, you know, you're kind of waiting around with all these other guys. Get in there and break up this conversation. And they have to kind of fabricate drama for the first 8 weeks until someone falls in love. So it's just like they're just kind of just throwing fuel on this until real feelings come out. So these early episodes are just garbage. I mean, this poor Maria girl is guilty of nothing but being attracted to this guy. And
let's be honest, and for being incredibly beautiful. That's why she's so gorgeous. The camera loves her. And so of course the girls are going to hate her.
And she's Canadian, so she's got this fun sense of humor. She has no idea what she's getting into. Now she's like, and I mean, it's so sad. She's literally in her confessional going, I didn't think it was going to go this way. I thought they were going to like me. Like, she's clearly the most beloved person from her town. And in real life, she's probably super beloved. And yet these women are like, not today, sister.
You're right. Not today, you won't. When she went and changed into that outfit, I was like, oh, it's so over for her. It's so over for her. She changed her clothes into some sexy thing, another sexy thing. It wasn't like the other thing wasn't. But the other girls are looking at her like, you gotta be kidding me.
Careful, Dave. I'm gonna overtake you in the Bachelor reviews here if you keep this shit up.
Please. Please do.
Dave, did I ever tell you that I did a podcast about The Bachelor?
No.
I did many seasons ago. Champagne Gate, whatever season that was.
Kelsey, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Someone wake me up when it's my turn again.
You said you didn't want to talk, Jeff. You know, you invite me when you don't want to talk. But no, I did. I had a girlfriend who's a comedian in Chicago who is one of the funniest people I know. And we just decided to do that because we used to watch The Bachelor together. We would do, get together and watch The Bachelor. And then I moved to New York and we weren't like hanging out anymore. So I was like, hey, let's watch this season and just do a podcast about it. And it was really funny. It's not like it took off or anything, but it was funny. It was a good time.
Yeah, there's a reason why people talk about it. There aren't many shows left that have like the Netflix dating shows don't really hit the mark with online discussion because we don't have these weekly conversations. But what's going to happen is Sydney and Maria are going to go on a 2-on-1 date, which means only one can survive. So they'll have a battle of who's the right one. I got one
way to sort that out.
Yeah, I mean, mud wrestling. I think I don't know.
It's a start.
Yeah,
I love your podcast, though. I love your podcast, Dave. I love how short and to the point it is, and like you make me laugh. Dave is funny, man. He's got some good zingers. I enjoy listening to you. That's why I have to catch up on The Bachelor because I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are that he's talking about.
You know what's funny is my most watched videos are always like the serious ones, like a breakup or a cheating scandal, and it's like you got to kind of. You can still have some fun with those, but some are like really serious and you kind of have to respect that. And then the funny ones are like what so-and-so decorated their new apartment with. And they're like those stupid Us Weekly articles. And those are my favorite. But those don't really do that well because it's like, who cares? So my favorite are the things that people don't like. And then the things that drive traffic are the ones where I kind of have to.
It's never the thing you think. It's never the thing you think that's going to be the viral thing ever. And it drives me crazy because it'll be something that like maybe I'm not that into as I was into this other thing that I really wanted to do. And the audience just doesn't respond. And it's the weirdest thing when they do. It's like, oh, so that's what you want to talk about. Okay, I guess.
Yeah. Or, sometimes I found out one good, well-placed Sunday video will do really well because there's no competition. And, so sometimes it's just, having the content out when you can kind of slide it through the algorithm, and consistency. That's what my channel took off when we started going super consistent. So I know, Megan, you asked me the other day, why do I do 2 podcasts a day? Because I'm getting paid to do 2 podcasts a day. So I'm like, I like to talk about all
He's
these
the hardest working guy ever. He
Well, I
does
was
2 videos a day, 2 podcasts a day, plus all the Patreon content. I'm like, the other night, somebody was like, get Dave on the show when I was live streaming. And I said, are you kidding? Tasha will kill him. He has been working all freaking day, and he promised her he was going to spend time with her. And I am not texting Dave to get on another stream.
No, please let me know next time, because Tasha's great. She's introverted, so she loves that I have this to do. Like, this is I get to burn this off while she can go read a book. So it works out well for us.
Okay, well, next time I'll ask, but don't feel bad saying no, because I know how hard you work. You're
Well,
like,
she knows I got to buy these chairs for the dining room table. So
Tasha needs some chairs. Tasha needs some chairs.
We got to.
She's so cute, by the way. You guys are adorable.
She is. I saw her for the first time last night.
Oh yeah, she. I mean, she floats in and makes her appearances on the Patreon, but. Anyway, I gotta talk to my lawyer, so I'll find out. I'll text you guys when I have some info.
Yeah,
oh, Dave, no stipulations. Don't do it. Don't do it. None. You're absolutely right. She will use it against you. Just show up in court. You're gonna win anyway. This is not legal advice, but still, that's my opinion.
All right, we're going to
listen
court.
to your lawyer.
All right, when you
listen to your lawyer.
When you see me in the Delta Lounge this afternoon, you'll know what we're doing. But all right, I'm gonna take off. Thank you guys for
keep us. No, thank you for being here, Dave. Deeply appreciate it.
All right, I'll talk to you guys
See
later.
you, Dave.
All right,
bye bye.
He's the best. Love
Stop
Dave.
talking about the Bachelor, Megan.
I'm sorry. Look, my hair is so wet. I look like a drowned rat. I was in the middle of diffusing my hair, and Jeff was like, "Get in here." I'm like, well, all right, but you're getting wet-headed, Megan. So I look like I went swimming, and it's not going to be very good.
Says not 50 million, but it's a start, right? Yeah, well, add a few more zeros onto the end of that and factor in the Canadian dollar factor, and yeah, we're good. That's a good start. Thank you so much for the support, Equality. And Island with the $2. What does Megan think about the whiskey? It's not the whiskey conspiracy; it's the moonshine conspiracy.
I don't know the moonshine conspiracy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We're not talking about that unless people pay me a lot more money. It's basically a conspiracy about moonshine, which surprisingly involves Texas. Hempland, Texas in the house. What up, Hempland? Gifted 5 Legal Advices memberships. Thank you so much, Hempland, Texas. If you were one of the 5 lucky recipients of Hempland TX's Legal Advices membership gift, make sure you give her a super special thanks. She deserves it. Huge supporter of the show. It's great. She's a wonderful, awesome person. If we factor that in, we're still like about $60 away from Doggo Cam. So come on, people. Shame on you. Shame on you. I know it's February, but that's no excuse.
You've seen my Doggo Cam, haven't you?
I have.
I stole your Doggo Cam.
I know. You're not the first, but I think I stole it from somebody said somebody else did it, and I went, okay.
It's a great idea, though. It is. And I finally found the right place to put the camera where the dog mostly wants to be, by the window, because he sits and looks out the window all day and barks at things,
As dogs are wont to do.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Well, let's talk about some Clayton Echard, shall we, Megan?
Or should we talk about Verdict Watch? I'm on Verdict Watch.
Nah, we're talking about Clayton Echard because this is the Clayton
let's
Echard
talk
show.
about Clayton. Okay.
Yeah, we got 702 people here that are supposed to be here for Clayton Echard, and but only 461 of them have hit the like. So 300 now we have 688. We're gonna get back into we're talking about the motion for contempt. She filed the motion to contempt him.
Did you read the one for Communicate yet? Because I still haven't.
Yes, we just read that one earlier.
I missed
that. Was one we just read at the beginning.
All right.
But this is the motion for contempt, because remember she threatened to contempt him or motion whatever that stupid phrase she used.
She said, "I'm going to file a motion in contempt."
Yeah, there's some stupid shit like that. It wasn't. Wait, I have to turn my merch around.
It's like, ma'am, this is not how any of this works.
Yeah, get a lawyer.
Please get a lawyer. I was so happy you said that to Dave too. Like, don't make me yell at you. I swear to God, when people contact me, and folks, don't contact me for help with family court shit if you don't have a lawyer. The very first person you should be contacting is a lawyer.
We don't need no stinking lawyer. Yes, you do.
Please get a lawyer.
Well, here's her motion for contempt. She wants to hold Clayton Echard in contempt because he's done some contemptuous contempt. He's contemptuous by his nature.
And it was contempt because he wouldn't talk to her. Is that it?
Yeah. Petitioner Jane who requests that the court schedule civil contempt proceedings against respondent Clayton Echard in this case, and in support thereof would show unto the court. Okay, this is King James Genesis. Well, this is the book of Eckhart, chapter 1, verse 2. Show unto the court the following matters and facts. On 20th May 2023, petitioner and respondent didst engage in sexual activities. On June 1st, 2023, petitioner... I can't do that anymore.
Oh, please don't stop.
Yes.
That's what she said.
Sorry.
Took an immaculate conception test at Banner Urgent Care on Greenway on the 64th Street in Scottsdale of Arizona. Petitioner informed the respondent that she was preggers. Petitioner informed the respondent that she was preggers. Just informed him, hey, I got your Schrodinger's twins here. Presenting him with the evidence from the visit. Petitioner told respondent that she has not been intimate with any other man since the year of our Lord 2022 in the month of March, and that she was positive the pregnancy was his. No, it's yours, bitch. It's not his. He just made it happen.
Oh God, the year of our Lord.
Yeah. On June 17th, 2023, respondent invited petitioner to his apartment. Are we going to get the details of what happened? I doubt it. Respondent.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Here's an interesting thing that you might not know that I just found out.
What did you just found out?
She had never claimed before that she was also doing gummies. It was just Clayton's story that he was on a gummy. She now is claiming that she was unable to consent or something because she was so high on a gummy. And people called her out on Reddit. She had posted something on Reddit a while ago saying, well, she was so high on a gummy that he doesn't know what happened. How could he? He was so high and I was so high. And people were like, okay.
Because I got high.
If he was high, then and you're saying you couldn't consent because you were high, well, then he can't either. Duh.
I wanted a blowjob, but then I got high.
Then she quit.
Yeah.
She quit claiming that. All of a sudden, it was like, oh, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So now we have the question of how many gummies were there, really? Who was on the gummies and when?
Oh no!
What?
Do I dare do this? I keep saying burning sensations. That sounds like an STD that Jane Doe might have. No! But it's bunning sensations. I have to keep remembering bunning sensations. Is the priest and Princess Bride on June 17th, 2023? Respondent invited petitioner to his apartment. Respondent had purchased a pregnancy test and asked petitioner to urinate in front of him.
Oh my God.
Asked petitioner, responded and purchased a pregnancy test.
And that's a lie. That's a lie because she didn't actually take the test in front of him. He said he let her take it in the bathroom alone. He checked her to see if she had anything on her, and then he let her take it. He didn't watch
None
her.
of this would have happened if he hadn't have taken it twice in the hallway or wherever the hell he took it. But, he responded, purchased a pregnancy test and asked petitioner to urinate in front of him. Sounds like a Vince McMahon thing, doesn't it?
Oh, God.
To confirm the pregnancy, petitioner complied. Well, as Megan just said, that's not entirely true, is it?
Not entirely true.
Jill said,
well, at least there are conflicting stories. She says it was in front of him. He says he let her take it by herself.
Jill says, what's the next trials you're covering in full? I'm intrigued. There's a few big ones. They're all getting delayed. Melly's supposed to start March 5th. That's been delayed indefinitely while they appeal something. Probably the Rust hearing for the armorer. She's supposed to be going to trial on the 26th of this month. So that's probably the next one I get. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes out. That's a subject for a different day. I'm not sure where we're going to go, what we're going to do. Stand by for that news. So you didn't I hate when that thing turns blue. On June 18th, 2023, respondent message petitioner stating, I wanted you to come over to confirm what I was doubting. And you did confirm that, so I don't see you as a liar anymore.
Oh,
I wanted you to come over to confirm what I was doubting. And you did confirm that, so I don't see you as a liar anymore. Well, on August 1st, 2023, petitioner filed a petition to establish paternity. Respondent was served the next day, August 5th. Petitioner told respondent via email that there was an urgent issue. So she's always, as Dave was saying, she's always got the urgent issues regarding their pregnancy with the twins that needed to be discussed.
It's always, we need to, right now, final offer. If I don't hear back from you, I'm having the babies.
The blue light special, 2 for the price of 1.
Oh, God. So bad.
And the petitioner informed respondent of the requirement to have good faith consultation pursuant to Rule 9. That's the Arizona Rules of Family Law Procedure, I believe. Before submitting the motion. Between August 5th and 8th, respondent did not respond to several more emails and attempts to communicate via phone and text message, which led the petitioner to submit the motion to communicate, which we just read. The respondent's refusal to participate in good faith consultation is a violation pursuant to the stupid rules. And on August 18th, petitioner emailed respondent. Clayton emails Jane. No, the other way around. Jane emails Clayton Echard, saying that she would file a motion for contempt and attach this to an email to him, Exhibit 3. Within this message said, oh, we have to do the Megan voice. I just have the creepy voice.
Oh, which one? The Reddit one? This one?
There is no order of protection or injunction against harassment between the petitioner and the respondent that would serve as a cause for the meeting to take place in a public setting.
I can't do this. Too creepy.
That is so creepy. Let me try and help you. There is no
Okay.
order
All right.
of protection or injunction against harassment between the petitioner and the respondent that would serve as a cause for the meeting to take place in a public setting, stating that he wanted cameras in case either party made a statement that would go on to be challenged at a later date. There was no mention of concern for safety when asked why. Were the respondent to file one at this point, knowing that this document was to be filed as a way to avoid meeting up, the respondent would be falsely filing a restraining order with perjury charges that could lead to jail time and the petitioner's ability to file for damages.
So what she's essentially saying is, there's no reason, even though we're trying to get this protective and injunction order against him, it doesn't mean we can't meet and talk. And he wants to bring cameras, and she's like, well, there's no reason there should be cameras there. He shouldn't be concerned for his safety. We're just trying to talk. Well, yeah, right. I wouldn't go anywhere without recording the shit out of everything.
Right. And also probably with a witness and possibly some law enforcement.
Zizek says, holy crap, that voice is annoying.
Almost as annoying as Jane.
Right.
That was the whole point.
Yeah. Damn, I need to make this stop.
You
going
get
quick.
me.
On August 21st, 2023, respondent filed a response to petition to establish paternity, stating, I am concerned that she is stalking. This was now remember, this is her motion. This was days after petitioner informed respondent that filing an order for protection and injunction against harassment as a way to avoid meeting up would be falsely filing a restraining order and purely retaliatory in nature. The respondent has not filed anything against the petitioner and has not expressed a concern for his safety before, although the petitioner was concerned enough for hers to make a police report against respondent on July 31st, 2020. So she filed a police report against him.
I think we may have that. Did you see the new documents?
Yeah, it's Exhibit 4 attached here.
Oh, okay.
And on the 21st of August, 2023, respondent filed a response to petition to establish paternity, stating under oath that it had been emailed to her, yes, as mailed. Neither were done, and the petitioner did not have knowledge of the response until she saw it on the ECR online on the afternoon of August 3rd. So she's saying it wasn't served on her. Well, it had to have been. That's just wrong. It had to have been served. Respondent was informed on August 22nd that the petitioner planned to file for the default on August 23rd, despite knowing this and the petitioner's confirmation that he had read the email via mail track. Respondent still did not inform petitioner of his filing. Therefore, without knowledge of anything being submitted by the respondent, petitioner filed for default on the morning of August 23rd. The respondent has committed fraud. Clayton has committed fraud upon the court in his response to establish paternity. An act of fraud upon the court harms the integrity of the judicial process and is a wrong against the institution set up to protect and safeguard the public. He falsely claimed under oath, Megan, that Party A is making up this entire claim. Pregnancy has not been proven, and no proof of children shown. Respondent has been given
Still no proof. Still nothing.
But she says he has been given the discharge papers from her visit to Banner Urgent Care
That's
and
not
acknowledged the petitioner had taken a pregnancy test that he had purchased in front of him. So respondent knew she was pregnant. This is fraud upon the court.
proof.
Well, maybe not. Respondent also falsely claimed
She
petitioner
thinks
was
everything is
refusing a
fraud
paternity.
upon the court. She thinks everything is fraud on the court. It's funny.
She was refusing a paternity test and unwilling to do a paternity test despite petitioner offering to take one 21 times. Because 22 would be excessive.
21, so specific. 21 times. Did she count all the time? Like all the text messages? It's just
From
strange.
Jump Street, 21 Jump Street. Within this email, petitioner included a zip file of these unanswered emails, which are voluminous and are not included here, but can be provided. The petitioner scheduled see, this is some shit. She scheduled a prenatal paternity test at the lab of the respondent's choice, Ravgen, and paid $725 as a deposit and CC'd him on emails with the lab. The respondent was given several opportunities to confirm his paternity test appointment to the lab, but did not respond to them, so the test was canceled. I think this is the one that Dave was talking about, where he said he was on his way to do it, and he was like nervous and paranoid, so he called him and says, "Hey, are we still on for the test?" And he said, "Oh no, you canceled it, or was canceled."
Yeah, she canceled it. It's all just messing with him. It's like just to mess with him just because, and it's cruel. What it is cruel.
Yeah. So clearly the respondent, Clayton Echard, is the party who is unwilling to take a prenatal paternity test, not the petitioner. The respondent's accusations are knowingly untrue, and presenting them under oath is a fraud upon the court. The respondent
Every
falsely
time, if this were a drinking game, you could get super drunk every time she writes fraud upon the court. It's great.
It's palpable.
Palpable. It's almost, she likes it almost as much as Ethan Shapiro likes palpable. Oh.
The respondent falsely claimed that the petitioner would only take a paternity test if we were to date exclusively.
Good Lord, who does this?
The petitioner has requested a 1 or 2 week trial relationship.
A trial relationship?
Judge, I've just requested a trial relationship. Given that the respondent was going to be the father of her children. However, the petitioner offered several times to take the prenatal paternity test with no stipulations at all, which the respondent knew. And we'll look at this this stipulation-laden, no stipulation thing here in a second. Presenting to the court that the only conditions presented required the respondent to be romantic in nature are purely false and therefore is fraud upon the court. Respondent claimed petitioner would write defamatory comments to the press. If an allegedly defamatory statement is substantially true, it provides an absolute defense to an action for defamation. The petitioner has multiple text messages where the respondent is abusive in writing. In addition, the petitioner has guaranteed the respondent that he is the father. Oh, well, she guaranteed it, so there you go, man. Case closed.
Well, case closed.
She guaranteed it.
She guaranteed it. Yep.
Yeah.
Throw it
Even
out.
offered to pay him $100,000 if he's not.
Man,
with
he
proof
should
of funds
have
given
taken
to him.
that deal. Should
I
have
hope
taken
to
that
God he
deal.
does.
It's
Despite
too late.
this,
he
he
didn't take the
refuses.
deal.
Yeah, he refuses to take a paternity test. Claims of defamation are purely false, since the truth of respondent's claim can be proven. Huh? Claims of defamation. Okay, Eckart's claims of defamation by her are purely false, since the truth of his statements. This doesn't make any sense to me. It's the truth of respondent's statements.
Stop trying to understand.
All right,
this,
okay, you're right. All right.
Because you're not going to.
I know.
It's insane. None of this makes. She wrote it with ChatGPT probably, and if you wait till you get to the sentence that, like Brad and I were reading it, and my brain broke. Like just there's.
The respondent has been unavailable for any conversations with the petitioner, including a good faith consultation. The respondent has falsely claimed representation when none has existed. On August 4th, 2023, respondent said, "I just walked out of a meeting with Reyes Mohammed and RM Warner Law. He will be representing me here shortly once I send over a payment to him." Petitioner attempted to get in touch with RM Warner Law, but they did not respond regarding the representation to the... They don't have to respond, you bitch. In respondent's response to petition to establish paternity, he states that he is representing himself without a lawyer. The petitioner has attempted to have a good faith consultation with the respondent prior to submitting this motion, but did not get a response. Wherefore, Jane demands that the court do this. The respondent be held in contempt of court for failure to obey orders. That's the motion to communicate. Non-compliance with the good faith consultation requirement for the motion to communicate submitted on August 8th. And she demands that the court schedule civil contempt proceedings against the respondent for fraud upon the court. We do need that. Fraud upon the court. Based on the knowingly false information and allegations submitted in his response to petition to establish paternity, blah, blah, blah. That the court order the respondent to take a paternity test at the request of the petitioner. And that the court order deny any and all relief. So that's what she wants. Megan, what should we do? Well, let's turn it over to the chat. My question for the chat is this. In our remaining time here, probably another 30 minutes or so, do we want to look at his evidence or her evidence? They're both equally, I think, amusing for different reasons. Chat, do this. We got 662 people here. Put a 1 in chat if you want her evidence, 2 in chat if you want his evidence. 1 for her evidence, 2 for his evidence.
I just can't decide.
I know, so we're going to let the chat decide. 1 for her evidence, 2 for his evidence. And while you're doing that, the like and subscribe poll, make sure you take that. Make sure you like this and subscribe. We've got
Been there, done that. 69 and also 420.
69, 420. Yeah,
They're not
that's
listening.
just
They're not listening.
So the what class did Jane Doe get an A+ in? 26% of you said arts and crafts. 6% said human biology. 20% have said existentialism, dealing with Schrodinger's kids, and 48% of you have said oral performance. So that's where we said
Oral
continue to take the like and
performance.
the like and subscribe poll. It looks like hands down people want to see her evidence. All right. All the emails and things. All right, we can do that. I know Megan has covered this, so this may be boring and dull for her to cover some of these documents that she's already covered.
That's all right. I'm just sending emails and stuff. It's okay.
She ain't paying attention. He doesn't care what I cover.
I'm really not paying attention. No, that's not true. I am.
Well, we've got this from her to Clayton Echard. All right. You read it and have had time to consider it. You are refusing to take the paternity test now. I'm not playing games with you. If this is a no, please tell me.
Wait, final offer. You skipped right over the best part.
Final offer. Need to know ASAP.
It's like a mattress sale.
Yeah.
Welcome to the mattress barn. This is the final offer. Final offer.
Mattresses.
Oh my God.
Now available.
never seen
Read
this
my
kind of
story
hard
in the
sell.
30th anniversary edition of Chicken Soup for the Soul. That was actually my favorite part.
So that chicken soup for the soul, that's the story about the napkin lady. So apparently the woman who wrote her the note on the napkin that she turned into a TEDx talk wrote the story in Chicken Soup for the Soul.
The final offer. Need to know ASAP. This was delivered on. This is the proof that he read the email. Just because he read it doesn't mean he has to answer it. Canceling NIP, canceling the NIP test too.
Ugh.
We could take a NIP test.
Free the nip.
It's with 2 P's too. It's a PP NIP test. Weird. All right. So from RavGen to her and Clayton Echard. Good morning. She who must not be named, apparently. We have canceled the test and refunded the $725 back to the card. It should take 3 to 4 days. Let us know if you have any questions or concerns. Thanks, Brett. All right. Well, that's the deal there. But before that, do we have to go back in this chain of email? Yeah, we do. All right. Unfortunately, hi, she says to RavGen. Hi, RavGen. Unfortunately, Clayton Echard has refused to take the paternity test that I had scheduled at Exam 1 in Phoenix on Wednesday, August 23rd. Can you please cancel it and refund $725 back to my card? Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for your help in scheduling it. I'm very disappointed to have to cancel. Here's the no stipulations. We've got 666. We got six concurrent viewers. Oh heavens. We need more viewers. We've got 666 viewers.
I hate it when that happens.
Stop fucking with Korean Jesus. He ain't got time for your problems. He busy with Korean shit.
Oh, Megan, did you see my Steve Martin thing earlier?
No.
You didn't see my Steve Martin thing. All right, let's do a Steve Martin thing. After we do this, Clayton, I'm sending you an email, Clayton, at 8:34 p.m. I genuinely thought you would have unblocked me based on what I wrote about how I felt disrespected. If she's blocked, how did you see what she wrote about being disrespected? Anyway, but I guess that's a no. As you can see, I was offering to do the test with no stipulations if you had done that.
That's a stipulation.
Like, I would do.
She loves her stipulations.
I would do the test with no stipulations if you stipulated to unblocking me.
If you stipulate to this other thing. God, this woman loves her stipulations. She loves the word stipulation too. It's like her obsession, this word, it just keeps coming up.
Now it's not an option. I've tried everything at this point and give up on trying to get you to take accountability and deal with this issue privately. I think you want it to be public, which I don't want. Anyway, that's how it will have to go because you can't ignore the fact that you will be a dad in February. Above attachment was a screen recording of petitioner's text message to respond and asking to take a paternity test. Well, as I've been saying, I think we need to give her the Steve Martin treatment.
Into the mud, scum queen.
That's it.
What movie is that from? I feel like I may have seen that.
Well,
What movie?
I'm sorry, I just think it's funny.
What?
I just think it's funny. I know. And
Why?
I don't know why.
Why are you crying?
Because it's funny.
It
it's
is
just
funny.
It is. It's just something that it's from the man with two brains. It's just something
right.
that I think is
Oh,
funny.
I haven't seen that since I was a kid. God, I thought that movie was hilarious.
Yeah,
I have such a bad memory because of the
It's
ADD. I can't. It's like if I haven't seen a movie in a few years, it's like I've never seen it. So I can't remember. Like, oh, I know it's kind of familiar, but where is it from?
But
Yeah,
see, this is
that-
the funny thing is
Steve
that, like,
Martin.
I'm the only person that finds that clip funny. Chat apparently hates it because nobody thinks it's funny. But
I love it.
I just
love everything
cry
Steve-
every time I play it.
I love everything Steve Martin does, though. I mean, he's one of my favorites. Did you ever see his interview with Barbara Walters? It might be one of the funniest things. Like, you know how she always used to do these serious interviews with stars and they take her to her. He takes her to his home and it's a shack in the middle of nowhere with like, you know, it's like all creepy, like a serial killer shack. And he's making her walk through mud and stuff. It's so fun. And he's like, oh, let me show you my pudding collection. She's like, what? He's got shelves full of pudding that's been sitting there like in these little containers. And he's going over it very seriously, showing Barbara Walters each pudding of his. It's the funniest stinking thing you've ever seen.
I love it. To Clayton Eckert. Clayton. You can have your attorney talk to me rather than Davis because I'm not sure what type of lawyer to retain since you hired an entertainment defamation attorney rather than a family lawyer. What the fuck does it matter to you what kind of lawyer? It's like, well, you freaked me out. You appointed an entertainment lawyer, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Similarly, you can respond to me and not Davis. No. If you have a lawyer, you talk to your lawyer. You don't talk to you. Anyway, he relayed your message, and here is my response. She continues to claim that I'm denying a paternity test, but I haven't once. You're right, you haven't once. You have 21 times. See attached. If that's what you told your lawyer, it's an out-and-out lie. I continue to say I will gladly do a paternity test under the conditions I am comfortable with. What was this? No stipulations.
Oh my God. Yeah, she
No
loves
stipulations?
her conditions and this is what makes me nervous about her wanting Dave to stipulate to anything.
Yeah.
She feels it's a win when she gets her stipulation and you can't play that game with her. She has to be told no in no uncertain. I feel like when she was a kid, she may have done this to her parents over and over again. I will do the thing you want me to do if you do this, you know, and hold
It's the
them
new parenting.
hostage. Yeah,
If
hold
you
them
do this, then
hostage.
we'll do.
Right. And like just hold your parents hostage forever because my behavior will be better if you get me the Xbox or whatever. And this is, you can't say yes to her in any way.
Or she got
You
thrown
have
off
to
a
say
horse
no.
one too many times. when
You
she was a
have
kid.
to say no. No, no, no.
I will continue to say that I will gladly do a paternity test under the conditions I'm comfortable with. Nothing has changed. Let me know if you're amenable to that. So let's just schedule it. Get it done. Okay. Exhibit 5. Hi. To Ravgen. I would like to book the paternity test as soon as possible for the twins I conceived with Clayton Echard. Can we take a paternity test with Clayton Echard? Because I conceived twins with Clayton Echard. I think that's what we're here to discuss, lady. We would like to book in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area. And when I have called before, you guys said there are 2 facilities you use. Which would you recommend? Thanks so much. All the best. Ugh.
All the best.
And
Jeff,
Clayton,
did you hear the audio files of her calling the cops?
audio?
You don't know about the audio files? I played them the other night.
No, I don't.
Do you not have
I just,
them? Oh, I'm
guess
forwarding them
not.
to you right now. I'm forwarding them to you right now.
I've just seen the one, like the police report with like, yeah,
'Cause
she
you
called
really
and
have to
said
hear
this.
her. You have to hear her voice and the sound of her tone, because it's hilarious. It's like she's ordering Chinese food. Hi, I would like to file a complaint for harassment and cyberbullying. Well, it's like an online thing. And do you have any beef chow mein? It's the craziest shit you ever heard. And I'm sending it to you because it's
Okay.
hilarious.
Well, and Clayton's here says, I'll pay for 100% of it. You have my word. Let this message serve as proof. Just schedule it and let me know where you'll schedule and I'll pay. But she did the down payment thing. But this is Clayton Echard to her again. I'll contact you with information of a local clinic that will provide the paternity test. I will ask you to schedule time and date. You will go in and submit your DNA, and then I will come in after and submit mine. That's how we will be proceeding. Smart man. Don't be in the same room with her. Don't be anywhere near her. Schedule the Ravgen test ASAP.
The second audio file, by the way, is when she calls the cops on Reddit. It's so funny.
Now we need you to read her part here.
Okay, hold on.
Sideways thing.
I'm sending an email and then let me do it.
Oh.
All right. Sideways?
Oh, Lord. This is going to be difficult. How do I get into this position? I wanted you to come over to confirm what I was doubting and did confirm that. So I didn't see you as a liar anymore. No, wait a minute.
That's Clayton.
Yeah. So what is this to Clay? Oh, she's resending his message?
Yeah, she's resending. She had screenshot his message and using it as an exhibit, but that's him saying that to her. So she manipulated him into thinking she was actually pregnant when he saw the positive test at his house. So now he's like, oh, I guess you aren't a liar, right?
Hempland, Texas. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat and closes her emails with all the best. I want JC Grisham to be a lawyer against this crazy lady.
I have to introduce you to CJ Grisham. It's CJ Grisham. You didn't see my live stream yesterday. You were sleeping, I'm sure. But CJ Grisham is an attorney who went to a board meeting with his client, and the board meeting that they threw his client out because he used a swear word. And then his attorney, CJ, gets up right behind him and proceeds to call everybody, including like say the F word a million times and say the C word. You can't play the video until you've been streaming for a while. It's the funniest. It's the funniest freaking thing you've ever seen, Jeff. I'm sending that to you too. You're going to love CJ. You're going to love him. And I could get him on your show if you want. I had him on yesterday and oh my God, total riot.
Oh, that'll be hilarious. Okay. So I thought you were talking about John Grisham. I'm like, yeah, I'd like to see
no,
John
CJ,
Grisham
he's
be
a new lawyer. He's a new lawyer that we just got introduced to that you have to know from Texas. He's so funny and very knowledgeable about Second Amendment issues and civil rights issues. We had so much fun with him yesterday on the program. He was a riot. So I'm going to send you that video.
Thank you. Now, see, this thing is some shit here. This exhibit 1 here. There's so many things weird about this. This is an encounter for pregnancy test. point of care test results, HCG-QI POC positive.
Okay, so I just want to point out that the chat's always like, that looks really doctored where it says HCG POC positive, but it's because I've seen the color version and it's because there's a highlighter on that part in the color version. The color version actually looks far more like normal and not doctored. So I don't believe this is doctored. I think, again, this is a P test though. And if she was on medication that caused levels of HCG to be in her blood, it would show up. And if she was taking HCG injections, it would show up. If she was taking fertility treatments, it would show up. This is not proof of pregnancy. It is a sign of pregnancy. There's a difference.
What happened today? Results are not available today. We have results up here.
Yeah. I don't know.
Will be available in your Banner Health patient account. The complete scheduled appointments, a patient's name. And this is weird as shit. I know you talked about this. This looks to be like a medical exam room to me.
Yeah.
Or some sort of break room or some weird shit. I don't know what this is. It looks like there's like a dining table over here to the left.
No, she's
looks
in
like
an
there's a
exam
medical
room.
table over
But
here.
I was told, though, by several medical professionals in my chat, they're like, if she was at an urgent care, there's a lot of times where you will pay first and they'll give you, that's why it says estimate. This is an estimate. So you pay this estimate. And then if there's anything to pay afterwards, then they bill you later. So they are saying that this could be that she just paid up front. Now, that's not the way they do it at mine, but that doesn't mean that it's not done other places. I truly believe she went to the urgent care, took a P test, and it came up positive for HCG. I just don't think it showed pregnancy. It's not because she's pregnant.
Same deal that was there. Okay. Here's her. We don't have to meet up privately, but you want to read this for us, Megan?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait, let's see. Do we need to go back? Okay.
I don't know. But to be filed tomorrow. Clayton, if you don't agree to meet up privately, then tomorrow I will be filing the motion to contempt.
That was a motion to contempt. That's what it was. Be filing the motion to contempt.
And the second good faith consultation certificate showing you yet again refuse to participate in the conference needed for this motion. If you agree to meet up privately, then I will be filing the notice of withdrawal of motion to communicate. Please let me know what you want to do. Or if I don't hear back, I will be filing the first two I mentioned. All the best.
In what world? In what world would he
Isn't this
ever, in
extortion?
light of all of this, want to meet with her privately?
I feel like this is extortion, Jeff. When does this meet the legal definition of extortion? When does this stop?
Hopefully on the 27th of this month.
Oh God, it's just awful that this is allowed. I mean, like, why couldn't Clayton go to the cops and show them this email? Be like, this person is extorting me. Please do something about it.
Clayton, if you unblock me like I asked you to, then I will take the test next Wednesday with no stipulations.
Good Lord.
She's done it again. We'll do the test with no stipulations if
you stipulate to this one thing.
Oh my God, this is just.
Oh my
stupid.
God.
You're trying to destroy my mental state. And this is the text from Clayton, which is exactly what she's doing.
I legitimately hate you right now. You know what, Clayton? Everybody, so these are the text messages that she released to the media.
Yeah, from him,
And
allegedly.
made him look, everyone was like, what a dick, how could he say this to a pregnant woman? Now that we know all the details, does anybody think that he's shown amazing restraint by saying just this? I legitimately hate you right now.
Yeah, we're missing all of the stuff in between these texts.
Yeah.
You've made my life so stressful since I've known you. And if you decide to not take plan B, and in the wild event that you are pregnant, I would hate you even more. Note, I obviously was pregnant. Oh, obviously. I don't think obviously. My hatred will only grow if you decide to put me through all of this. Exactly what? Like we go through all of this and you go, okay, we'll have a relationship for a while. I mean, why would that even? Why? And she's nuts. My animosity would last for a lifetime. This is a dude that is saying, look, I know you want this trial thing, you want us to be together, but here is me telling you that under no fucking circumstances am I ever gonna ever want to have anything to ever do with you again, ever, ever, ever. That's what he's trying to relay to her with this text message. My animosity would last for a lifetime, and it's not something either of us want to subject ourselves to, even if a kid was present. I would not say a word to you. I would not acknowledge you. One thing about me is when I make up my mind for good, especially when it's rooted in anger, I don't sway ever. My hate is toward you and you only. God is telling me this man will provide me with the clarity I need, as I have many questions, and those questions have turned into beliefs, ones that have led to animosity and complete lack
This
of
poor
trust towards
man.
you.
This poor man, like I read this, my heart is breaking. And he's going through this alone, and then also with the public, then a couple, like, I don't know, a couple days from now or weeks, now then the public turns against him. This is what he's been through has been horrific. Like, we've laughed a lot, but this poor man, we're all lucky that he's still alive and with us after what she put him through.
You'd better be serious about being pregnant, because if you're not, I'm bringing this all to light. People like you need to be held accountable. You can back off now if this is all a game, and I'll let it go. But if you continue any longer and it's a lie, I won't hesitate to reveal the truth. And here we are today. My personal hell would be having to have you be a part of my life. I'm living in fear of having to be associated with you for my lifetime. Sounds like a pretty reasonable dude to me.
Very, very reasonable. Like, he's been so reasonable. Like, he's not swearing at her. He's not calling her names. He's just telling her how he feels. You know, I hate the media for what they did. I hate that they took this story from her and ran with it, even knowing, because
It's the sensational story.
Clayton talked to the Sun, and they said they didn't care whether his story was true or not. They were like, well, you know, all publicity is good publicity. Basically, suck it up, Clayton.
Yeah. And Duncan Idaho with the $5 says they just let anyone do a TED Talk these days, don't they? This lady's barely smart enough to maneuver this very user-friendly legal system.
It's TEDx, which is a little different than TED Talk, I guess. And yes, anyone can do a TEDx talk. So
pretty much.
Perhaps we should rethink that.
I like this. This was like I think this was the response to the I don't want anything to be made public. And the lawyer's like, thanks. Regarding your request, our legal team doesn't have any control over what's public record. Kick rocks. She has a million other stories.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. Bernie Zilla from the New York Post.
I've been in the information very interesting.
I have a million other stories and things on my plate at the moment. If you're not okay with me publishing information you've provided me, I understand. However, if the information is public record, that's a different story.
Now, wait a minute. Clayton sent this to Bernie?
No, Bernie's sending this to
Clayton?
her. No, to her regarding Clayton.
So she went to the New York Post.
Yeah.
And this is her communication with Bernie.
She's apparently telling the New York Post.
I want to reach out to him. I wonder if he ever wrote anything.
You don't publish information that I gave you. And he's like, well, hey, if it's public information, tough shit.
I'm going to contact him. His email's right there. I'm going to ask him.
Ginger with a soul. Thank you so much for 9 months of support. Says two of my favorite people that I don't actually know in real life. Been watching you both since depth. Thanks for keeping me company during work. Well, thank you for keeping me company here on the Oldie channel and supporting me for 9 months. And Megan, too. Thank you very much. Looks like we're about $30 away from Doggo Camp. Cool. That's easy. We can get there. We have a few minutes for the dogs. There's no dogs around, so never mind. So Bernie sent her another message. I don't know yet. Your name being part of the public record might change things. She's like, don't name me. Keep me anonymous. Well, your name is kind of out there, so tough shit. More health stuff. To the Scottsdale Police Department. This is the police report prepared by her July 31st. Clayton Echard is the father of my unborn twins. When I told him I was pregnant, he started writing erratic illogical, and threatening messages. He has been clear that being a father has not been in his life plan and would not get in the way of his dating and professional life. These would be followed by periods of silence and him blocking me, then unblocking me to demand alternative forms of proof of pregnancy beyond the medical report I had provided him from Banner Health confirming. She's like going to the police saying, he's not talking to me. Clayton said he would file legal charges, criminal fraud against me for stating he is the father of my unborn twins. Extortion is a crime. What's he extorting? He's just saying, I'm going to do this. He's not asking for anything. He alleges I'm being untruthful. However, I have even done a test in front of him that he purchased himself. It was positive. In addition, he is provided with medical test results, recorded phone calls with the doctor's offices confirming the viability of the pregnancy, and screenshots of my patient portals. I also agreed to take a prenatal paternity test through a lab he found called RavGen, but he has now gone MIA and will not allow me to schedule the test, which would prove to him once and for all that the twins are his. Finally, I told him I would sign a HIPAA release to allow him to speak to any and all of my medical providers regarding the validity of the pregnancy, which she's never done. I've included written correspondence with Clayton that demonstrates his potentially violent, threatening, and intimidating behavior. I've invited him to attend a doctor's appointment on August 7th in Scottsdale. His paranoia extended to the level that he believes I will have hired someone to pretend to be a doctor who will confirm. See, how batshit crazy do you have to be for someone to go, I don't even believe you're going to be seeing a real doctor?
Yeah, I mean, but she's never actually given him any indication that she's gone to a doctor. Like, she says that she's gone. She has screenshots of appointments, but yeah, she never actually lets him talk to a doctor. And it would be so easy for her to do that. So easy, but it's all because it's not true. It all points to none of it being true.
And mind you, mere days after she filed this report where she's saying, Clayton, which Clayton linked to this message from TED Talks, I have a CLET's restraining order against the man he wanted to speak to, and engaging him in communication would put me in vulnerable position. Endangerment is a crime. I'm very concerned about my safety, and I don't know what actions Clayton will take because he's so volatile, controlling, demeaning, and hateful. And so she's like telling the police this guy might possibly do something. Domestic violence is offense against a pregnant person is a felony. I'm concerned that Clayton will cause physical harm / injury to me. Thank you. She tells the police. And what are the police going to do? Go, oh, so he actually hasn't done anything? So he actually hasn't made a threat against you? All right. Thanks. Thanks for the email.
Mm-hmm.
In Clayton's saying, I just need to see the ultrasound. She's submitting these as some sort of evidence that he's a dirtbag. And I just need to see the ultrasound to make a decision. I can't make a decision without seeing.
Which makes you wonder, how did the Sun in page 6 read these emails and come away with Clayton's this big bad guy?
Right. Just please get me the ultrasound. That's all he's asking for here. If you really want me to believe you, then give me a chance. Then give me a chance to. Let me talk to the medical provider that you saw. That's a fair request, considering the circumstances. How is this unreasonable that he's asking to see the medical records? He's asking to see the ultrasound. I want a paternity test scheduled, but I would stop doubting your words. Let's make this easier on both of us. There's no reason not to. How is this making him? Okay, and when are you going to do that? How is this unreasonable, Megan? Help me understand.
None of it is unreasonable. It's crazy. She's a very good manipulator and gaslighter, and she's abusive through the constant, trying to tell you you're not seeing what you're seeing. Your eyes are lying to you, is what she's saying.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's maddening. I get exhausted reading her stuff. By the time I'm done, I'm like, oh my God, I need to go lay down. Imagine how Clayton felt. Imagine how all 5 of her victims felt. 5 now. We're up to 5. Did you see oh my God, you guys, you have to see the locals meme from yesterday about this. What did I do with it? I'll find it for you, Jeff, and send it to you on Twitter, and you're going to die laughing. It's so good.
And Duncan Idaho says, can her parents be held liable? Thank you so much for the $5. So deeply appreciated. Can her parents be held liable for using the legal system as a weapon against Clayton since they didn't keep it locked away in a secure container? They didn't keep her chained
Uh-huh.
in the
They did.
closet.
Yeah, this is a very good argument. We're actually watching the Crumbly verdict verdict watch right now. We're going to find out if parents can be held liable for the crazy things their kids
Yeah.
do. And if
They
that's
didn't
the
keep her on
case,
a muzzle and a leash.
perhaps they should go after the Owenses for this.
Oh Lord. Well, now this is his document where he's they transfer the case. That's not important. There's this.
Was this attached to her filing or no?
No,
This is his.
This was his filing.
Okay. His
Notes
filings
of
are much better, by
appearance.
the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is the petition for an injunction against harassment against her. This is Clayton's petition for an injunction against her.
which he won eventually.
I love this. Choose options that best describe your relationship. Other, hookup, one time only.
Poor guy.
Just a hookup,
That'll
one
teach
time
ya.
only. But he got a twofer, so. If checked, defendant and I have pending action involving maternity, paternity, annulment, legal separation, dissolution, custody, parent time, or in support in Maricopa County. Here's his deal. The defendant will receive a copy of this. Tell the judge what happened and why you need this order. Print both the dates and a brief description of what happened. If there's a contested hearing, a judge can consider only what you write here. Here's his story. May 20th, 2023. Hookup occurred. Just like the hookup occurred. It occurred. Nice passive voice. Hookup occurred. Defendant claimed she became pregnant from it. Sexual intercourse never occurred. Defendant has not shown proof of a viable pregnancy. Defendant has sent over 100 emails despite being blocked. Also has texted me from at least 7 different phone numbers. Every time I block one, she creates a new number. Is currently defaming me online despite her repeated pattern of behavior of accusing men of getting her pregnant. I am the 3rd person she is accused. Well, until we found out now he's the 5th person that she has accused. As a resident, and then he adds on here from 520 to 926. Defendant
All right,
sent over.
I tagged you on the meme on Twitter. It's so freaking funny. My locals people are just, God, you people are talented. I couldn't come up with half of this shit. It's great.
The defendant has sent over 100 plus emails despite me not responding to them. She has been blocked via email for the last 3 months. I blocked her phone number around the beginning of June, and she has contacted me from at least 5 other numbers since then. She is contacting me and threatening to sue for defamation, but as a public figure, I'm the one she is defaming. And there's lots of redacted stuff, his driver's license and shit. So let me look at what Megan has sent me here, shall we? You've tagged me in Twitter, have you? Megan Fox. Oh, there we go. Copy. Paste over here to the other browser. Open image in new tab. Close this tab. There we go. Let's see what Megan Fox has sent us, shall we? Share screen. Victim -1, victim 0, victim 1, 2, 3, Clayton Eckard.
Now look down,
Jane.
scan down. Clayton knocking on the door. Wait, this is the wrong room. Always has been. It's really that's what it will take in this case, is for her to go after the wrong guy, and she finally did. Those poor people behind him. My God, I can't even imagine. We've got victim after victim piling up now. Other falsified pregnancies, threatening self-harm, putting that on people. Like, this is something I've never seen before, Jeff. This story is turning into one of the greatest hoaxes I've ever seen.
It's not even that great. It's the most persistent hoax. It's not necessarily the greatest.
Well, that she's gotten away with it for so long, I think, is what is so shocking about this is that this has gone on. There could be more than those victims as well. That's the thing. They keep coming out of the woodwork. Dave is doing incredible investigative journalism work. I keep telling him, I'm like, I'm not calling you a comedian anymore, Dave. You're an investigative journalist now, whether you like it or not, because he's been digging up stuff that is just awesome. Good for
Well,
him.
speaking of Dave, here's where Dave enters the picture. I want to add one more piece of information. A very popular YouTube blogger who got 33,000 plays on a since deleted post about the paternity case I filed again about Clayton just posted this video today saying that he is considering traveling from California to go to the courthouse on Monday to report. And if he didn't, he asked his followers if they might want to volunteer to go. I beg you to consider my request to appear virtually, as this truly could be an issue for my safety. I've already retained counsel. Thank you so much for your consideration. And I, of course, respect either decision. All the best. You're just begging the court to please let me not have to come to court when you told me I had to come to court, because public people are going to go to the public proceedings where the public are, because it's a public courthouse for public people to do public things. Wow. Oh my God. And my name is so-and-so. Clayton Echard, who is the Bachelor, filed a retaliatory injunction against harassment against me, and we have a pre-hearing on October 9th. On September 21st, the police called Clayton because he was harassing me. On September 22nd, I filed an order of protection against him and had a telephonic hearing, but hung up because I decided I didn't want him to have the repercussions that come with having an order on file. So she files an order for protection and hangs up on the court during a hearing because she doesn't want him to have the repercussion. But she's doing this shit. I'm filing this lawsuit against him, but I don't want to have him to have any repercussions.
Yeah, sure.
Fuck off.
I think these are just things she says so that she can look like she's trying to be decent. But it doesn't come off that way to me.
I filed a paternity case against Clayton, which has become a very big deal in the media. It has been closely followed by People, Us Magazine, Page 6, the Daily Mail, all the reputable news sources. Life and Style in the Sun. She's got all the world's reputable media right there. Every one of them. Top-notch journalism there. Ugh. I was stunned when Clayton told his 273,000 followers in a story today that we have a hearing set for Monday. Since the information regarding the date and time is online, I'm very concerned about his fans showing up to harass me or worse. It's a public hearing, bitch. It's a public hearing. Oh my! I hate people
that. She doesn't understand how any of this works. She doesn't know what's public and what's not. This is why it's important what LawTube does and what we do, talking about, how, and what I do as a journalist, talking about freedom of information and public records requests and sunshine laws. People need to understand that these things are not secret. Okay, this is America, ma'am. This is America. You cannot do these things under the cover of darkness. We will find you. We will expose it.
Oh, there's his picture. Oh, he's so
It's
scary.
from his that was from his Instagram video. This poor guy. He's like, he took the one opportunity to get on and say, hey, I knew it, no fetal DNA. And everyone just jumped on him and shit on him again because they were like, you're too happy about that. What if these children grow up and they see that someone was so happy not to be their father? And he's like, you don't get it. There's no children. Yeah. There's no babies. There's mouth babies. Like what?
Yeah.
There's Schrodinger's twins. There's no babies.
I do like. I am writing this email in hopes of being able to deny the defendant's motion to appear virtually for the upcoming protective order. Like this looks like the court going, yeah, like can we really just make sure she's here? I would like the defendant to appear in person, because I believe she's fabricating a story about her being pregnant with my twins. Currently, we have another court case open to establish a parenting plan. Herein lies the problem. Here's the problem. A parenting plan is not possible to fill out when there are no living children to write up a plan for. As ridiculous as this may sound, I believe the defendant is not pregnant at all. She's never provided me with a sonogram and report to prove a viable pregnancy, and also will not let me speak to any of the doctors that have allegedly administered ultrasounds to her. Trying to get medical documentation has been a battle I've been fighting for 5 months. I like that introductory. Like,
I
Here's
think
the
we need.
problem.
I think we need a new law that in family court you cannot file any petition for paternity or pregnancy or any of that custody shit until you provide the court with solid proof from a doctor that there's an actual pregnancy. How much money would that have saved poor Clayton Echard? How can they allow someone to come into court, file documents for paternity, and there's no actual baby and no one bothers to check? We cannot do this to people. But of course, family court is kangaroo court. I'm so glad that Dave Neal actually mentioned, he's like, yeah, Clayton should bring her to big boy court. Yeah, he knows. It's funny how people just get one glimpse of this family court system and they figure out, oh, this isn't real court. This is like some kind of clown show.
And Twisted Logic says she could actually be very dangerous. There have been women who fake a pregnancy, then find a pregnant woman and take the baby.
I know, it's very dark. And it's
there
very
there are
she needs
not an
help.
insignificant number. Yeah.
She needs help.
Her parents have got to stop enabling.
Yeah. She
Sad
needs
thing.
an institution, possibly.
Poof. Megan, we've got to the end here. I'm gonna save all these things you sent me, the audio files for Friday. Like when we can have a chill Friday stream.
You're going to love it. You're going to love those. They're a lot of fun. And also, don't forget to watch the video I sent you on the Twitter DMs because you're going to die laughing. It starts around 30 minutes. Watch it.
Of course it does. What do you think it was going to start at the beginning?
Of course not. And I want your reaction to it, though. I almost want to make you watch it live so I could get your reaction. There are a lot of swears, though. So you have to wait till you're a couple hours in.
Yeah, that's not a problem. We can talk a bit. And then do it. It's like Friday, we're just going to kind of do a chill stream, kind of a catch up on some news things. You know, where's Sarah Boone now? What's up with the YNW Melly case? What's going on? Kind of do a chill kind of catch up stream. At least that's what's planned.
Well, I'm going to be doing a verdict watch now over on the Crumbly trial. Jennifer Crumbly being she's maybe going to be guilty of manslaughter for the school shooting her son did in Michigan. We don't know. But that trial is a shit show. I've got updates on that. We're watching the verdict. And I'm also going to be talking about this Clayton Echard and Jane Doe thing. I say her name on my stream.
Yet?
I did. The stream is set up. It's sitting there waiting. It's called Trial of Jennifer Crumbly Verdict Watch Day 2. Are you not seeing it?
Right. Maybe I just have to search for your name. Okay, if I search for your name, it shows.
Okay.
Well, that's saved because we'll just send everybody over to you. Now, with this Crumbly thing, see, this is the thing. It's like Friday we'll do the chill stream, kind of a catch-up news story. We'll listen and watch these things that Megan just sent, the audio files and this other video. Thursday, Chandler, Remington and I are going to be doing our O.J. Simpson closing arguments with Barry Scheck continuing. But tomorrow, Wednesday, people have been asking me to watch the closing arguments from both the prosecution and the defense in this the Crumbly case. They say it's insane. Is it?
Yeah, you got to watch the closing arguments. But the whole trial was weird. I mean,
yeah.
Law and Lumber put up a really good thread on Twitter. I'm actually going to go over on when we get over to Verdict Watch, where he points out a lot of the problems with this entire case. For one, the speaking objections were outrageous. There were no sidebars, Jeff. None. And the judge just allowed these two to argue like toddlers in his courtroom in front of the jury. It was so weird.
I've seen very, very little of the basically just what I saw. I think I was on with you for a little bit and then with somebody else for I just like Nick Starr, I believe, just for minuscule amounts of time. But
it's only
it was
like
just
9 days.
It was just always the I mean they're like screaming at each other going, but how do you expect me to read all these documents? You know, like because you're the defense lawyer, maybe? I don't know. There was like and the prosecutor was being weird as hell too. So everybody was just saying that the closing arguments were weird. So tomorrow I'll have to see how I feel when I wake up. But tomorrow, most likely, I'll just be watching the closing arguments and giving my comments on those just cold. Because people say they're crazy and I need to review them. So
They were strange. I liked the defense's closing arguments more than most people did. Although I realized that what she did in her closing arguments is against a whole lot of rules, but nobody objected and the judge allowed it. So it's like, who's going to complain? You can't complain if you're not objecting and the judge is not doing anything about it. And I thought it was pretty effective. She basically told it was like jury nullification. She was basically telling the jury, do you want to be held accountable for this kind of stuff? Do you want to be responsible for everything your kid ever does on a cell phone? Because And yesterday on my show, if you guys missed Verdict Watch yesterday, I had the most amazing show yesterday because I invited like a bunch of guests to just come on and hang out with me. And I had CJ on to talk about the Texas thing. I had well, you were sleeping. I had
You didn't invite me.
Well, but you're always invited. For God's sake, I'll just add you to I'll make you a team member. You can pop in whenever you want. So I had this woman on from Bark. Bark is that software you can put on your phone to monitor your kid's phone, because I started to get really nervous. I'm like, holy shit, you guys, if we're not paying attention to everything our kids are doing online and we miss something, we go to jail. Like perhaps now it should be a record. We have to have monitoring software on all of our stuff. Not that it's a bad idea. That interview was so good. It was so interesting. And it brought up so many questions that people had about monitoring software and what are the freedom concerns with that. And do they ever report stuff to police? My chat stumped her. This woman from Bark didn't even have these answers. She's going to come back. She was so sweet though. Hopefully I'll have her back so she can answer those questions about privacy, because some of this monitoring software, it's scary how much is happening. The AI is, it's scraping everything for these for words and violent websites. And you want to know, what are you doing with that information? And how can that come back to bite me? This is such a scary time we live in as parents. It's been a really interesting trial to like bring up those issues and talk about that. So if you guys want to go back and see that interview, the Bark interview was probably halfway through a 9-hour stream. You can just scrub through and find the pretty blonde lady and you'll find her. I should do some timestamps on that one because it was a really fun stream yesterday. Today, I don't have anything set up. I don't have any, maybe Greg Anderson. I've asked Greg to come on because he's got an update in the Kushner case that he wants to talk about. So I'm going to try and get Greg on at some point. But it's going to be a good stream. I'll be streaming all day. So
well, we're set up to head on over to you. We're going to redirect to you in the next couple seconds here when we shut this down. Let's see.
And I'll be there. I just got to go get coffee.
All right.
In fact, I'm going to drop out. Love you, Jeff. See you later.
Thanks for popping in, Meg. See you in a bit. All right. We're going to shut this down here. 663 of you here now. 590. Come on. We need 6 more people to get 600 likes. Just give me 600 likes. That's all I'm asking for. 6 of you, just get down there and smash that like button. We and subscribe. Just, yeah. If you subscribe, I will love you. You can have my Tonsil Twins. Like, subscribe, and vote. What class did Jane Doe get an A+ in? We ended up the poll with 26% of you saying arts and crafts. 6% of you said she got an A+ in human biology. 19% of you said she got an A+ in existentialism with Schrodinger's kids. And 49% of you said she got an A+ in oral performance. Well, there you go. That wraps up the poll for today. And thank you. We're up to 622 likes now. I love you all dearly for that. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Jennifer with a $5 super chat to close us out here says, if you buy your kid a car and they get into a fatal crash, you will go to jail. We're getting there. There are arguments to be made, unfortunately. But join me tomorrow while we figure out these closing arguments. I'm curious. Terry Gilliam is also my jam. I think it'd be fair. I'm not sure what prompted that, but there you go. All right, peeps, let's head on over to Megan Fox and see what she's doing here. Thank you so much for all of Dave's people that joined here. Thank you so much. I love Dave. Dave is a hilarious guy, and he's doing the Lord's work here in this case. And I appreciate being informed of the case and getting involved in it and having him on here. Truly, truly a great guy. And thank you all of his supporters for supporting me. Thank you, mods, for doing your moddy best tonight. Thank you for all the support that you've given me in the chat. Vice Squad chat is the best chat on the entire internet, hands down. Love all of you. Thank you for the membership support, the membership gifts, the super chats, and for just being here and talking to each other and hitting that. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you here tomorrow for more stuff, 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. UK, and that's 11 p.m. Korea time or 1 a.m. Australia Eastern Daylight Time. Till then, Law Rex, saying peace out.